of shiny helmets, spandex jumpsuits, and strange monsters, these heroes force feed you a bowl of awesome that is the Tokudon Podcast. Join Carl, Josh, and Rob as they haphazardly welcome you to the exciting genre of tokusatsu. Now, open wide.
So, I didn't edit the other episode, or what we had of the other episode, so I'm just going to tack it on the end of this. So if anyone... Okay. Yeah, it's going to get weird if you're listening to the MP3 later.
That was the Karas. We just got through the Karas, right?
Yeah, we only got through Karas, and then everything started taking a poop as soon as we started on the Saber stuff. So
cool.
At the end of this, after we get through all the Saber, we're going to have a little review of Karas on there. So
yes,
probably be an extra long episode.
Dope. Lucky you.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So yeah, welcome to Tokudon. This is the premier, I'm going to call it, I'm just going to say it. I'm going to take credit. We're the premier tokusatsu podcast. Probably not, but yeah, we are.
Yeah, with the accent and everything, because you have to make it official.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we get a medal? Is there a medal?
Is there a medal? Can I get a medal? Even if it's just like a Jeed coin? I'll take that. That's fine.
Yeah, we'll get that.
We'll make that happen.
Jeed? Why Jeed?
Jeed, because they're a coin. They're metals. They use metals.
Greed.
Jeed, whatever. Jeed.
No, Jeed. No, Jeed. Jeed. No. You go. I go.
Oh God, I forgot how bad it is.
Where are we going? Where exactly are we going?
The Ultramen are like, why? Why are we leaving? I'm literally in a disc. What do you want from me?
Isn't that the same kid who did the Mob Psycho movie?
I have no idea. I didn't see I haven't even seen the anime yet. I have no idea.
I only know a little bit. I've seen like the fight sequences and it looks...
The animation's amazing. I just have no idea what it's about.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, that fucking kid. You go! Anyway.
Yeah. So we're gonna be reviewing some... I feel like we don't say it, but we probably should. But there's gonna be some spoilers because we're gonna be reviewing up to the most recent episode.
Major spoilers.
Of Kamen Rider Saber. And yeah, episode 10.
I think we're starting where? At 5?
5, I believe, is where we stopped before. Yeah, because we were doing 1, 2 at a time. So
5 episodes.
Introduces our quaternary rider, I believe. Right? You watched it more recently than I did.
We have Yeah. I mean, it's up to we have Saber, Blades, Espada, Buster, and now
yeah, I guess it's a Funthery. I don't know, Quintriary.
Yeah, because so we have up to 6 without spoilers yet. So
okay, so of the episodes we reviewed so far, we have 6.
Yes.
Is that including Caliber?
No.
So that's
I was just
7. Okay, so just the good riders, Team Kamen Rider.
Yeah, the good rider.
We're up to 6.
Yeah. Up to 10 episodes, we have six heroes.
Okay.
Per se.
So yeah, starting at episode 5.
Yeah.
Give us the lowdown just to remind me of what happened in that episode before I go into like the other episodes.
5 is actually the debut of the Kamen Rider Espada. We get to know a lot about his backstory in this episode. There's so much to cover. I don't know how in depth we want to go, but
we're gonna do it. We're gonna do all of it.
Oh, let's go. All right, so
we're going in, baby.
So we start. The episode starts like, they're recovering, trying to figure out what to do about Caliber because he's suddenly a big problem because he always will be. Kento alludes to having some kind of tie to him, and then we get to learn about the Daishinji. Daishinji is the weird guy that just kind of appears in the.
He literally just shows up in the show.
Yeah,
we were like, who is in like the 3rd episode? He just like floating around the sort of Logos headquarters. We had no idea
like a named character.
Yeah.
a named character just appears.
Like,
So,
oh, you guys remember Daishinji, right? Like, what?
yeah. Shinji, dude, he's been here like the whole time.
Yeah.
Like the whole time.
So,
But
they seem to do that a lot, especially getting into like this episode where it's like, oh, you guys didn't know about this? That's crazy. Weird. So,
yeah. Well, they suddenly dropped the whole plot thread where Toma didn't know he didn't remember. Because all of a sudden he suddenly remembers that he doesn't remember.
Yeah, so his amnesia seems to be very inconsistent in this series, where it's like, oh, I don't remember. Oh, Kento, that's right, we're buddies. And then it's like, oh, I don't remember again. And then suddenly he kind of remembers, and then, oh yeah, I'm getting fragments as I fight. And it's like they almost forgot about that plot point throughout the episodes.
I really think that they just abandoned it because like they're like, yeah, okay, whatever.
So his amnesia is going to be a plot convenience. That's what it is.
Yeah. We're introduced to the kaiju, the piranha.
Yes, that's right. Because he steals the boat.
He eats a boat.
Yeah. This is also the episode, I believe, where Saber gets his sword sealed, right?
When they clash with Caliber. So there's at the moment after Espada's first henshin, Saber goes right up against Caliber right away, and when they clash, I forget what they called it, but they gave it a name. Resonance, I think.
Yes,
whatever it was.
That's what it is. Yes, I'm sorry. So
yeah,
they don't
resonance.
They don't right away, but then I'm going to. I thought we had a video of the henshin up here from.
Yeah, I mean it's something happened where
so they clash and then the two belts like start glowing at each other and the dragons come out.
Yeah. And that's like part of the whole prophecy or something like that, where the two dragons clash.
Suddenly there's a prophecy.
And whatever. Suddenly Saber can't pull his sword. He gets nerfed majorly for some reason. For a reason, but for here we don't.
We'll get into that in the next episode. But
yeah.
So this is essentially honestly not a lot happens in this episode other than you find out that Caliber was his father. You do find that out in this episode, and then you do also mute that. If it'll let me play, can you see it on the thing? Sure. Good enough, I guess. We'll do one of these. Boop, 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 move it up. Boop, 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 move it up.
There it goes.
So, Espada's first henshin. He uses the... I still don't know if it's 1001 Arabian Nights or if it's specifically Aladdin.
I think it's just Aladdin.
Okay.
I don't know. That could go either way, really.
It makes sense if it's just Aladdin because there's a genie in the bottle and everything. And I don't know what the other stories entail, honestly, in that collection.
Yeah. I mean, his other ones don't quite fit the same.
And it really... I mean... The layout for the books as we get more of them, because we're going to end up getting like full sets, and then we'll talk about the Wonder Ride combos eventually. But it seems to be that the first slot closest to the sword is a mythological creature. The center one is some kind of, normal creature, and then usually tied to some kind of element, but not always. And actually, it's just a creature, because what am I saying? Flame Dragon is just there. And then the one all the way to the, if you're looking down at the belt, all the way to the left seems to be like a mythos story, not necessarily a creature or anything. So, like a fairy tale kind of thing almost.
That's cool and good observation. I hadn't noticed that.
Yeah. So that seems to be the order because they kind of follow that, I don't know, not chronologically. What's the word I'm looking for? They follow
that system.
Yeah, they seem to all kind of fall into that, like where they place them on the belt. That seems to be the order. I can't think right now. Oh god.
You're
talking,
good.
Talking is my thing. Yes,
makes sense.
It's like we do a podcast or something. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Who'd have thought?
Weird. So yeah, Espada is very much. He's a lightning boy. He's everything you would think a lightning boy is.
So, what do you think about his design, though? Like,
I really like it. I really do.
Yeah. It's not so much gold. Like, well, I mean, for now, it's not so much gold.
Yeah.
But it really was dope, and the helmet itself for me is this awesome.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to say which design I like more, because Saber's design to me is immediately dope. but the more I look at Espada's, the more it starts to appeal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not immediately. It's like, that's weird, but it's actually really dope.
I'm just confused. I'm sure it's just like a basic design thing, but I'm confused on why the other two. I guess he does. Looking at it, never mind. I was gonna say I don't know why Saber has like the black part as opposed to just the colored and the white. You know what I mean? But I guess looking at Espada, he does have the gray in the center, so he does have that separation. Because like Saber's is red, white, black. And then I feel like...
Yeah, I see it, yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't really notice the silver before, but Espada does have a silver section in the middle. And then I don't know if Blades does, because his is in the middle. I think it's black on both sides, right?
Yep, his is just right in the center.
Yeah, his is just black on both sides. So yeah, it's not as weird of a design thing as I thought it was for a second, but yeah, it's... The tricolor thing I think works a little bit better for Espada in my opinion than it does for Saber. I mean, I've said since day one I'm not a huge fan of their base forms, but they do get way better when they get their like 3-volume sets, no matter which combination it is. I think it's just more interesting to look at.
We'll get there because I have some issues with it, but whatever. Okay, so basically, Espada has daddy issues because his dad, he believes his daddy is Caliber, and 15 years ago he just did the ultimate douche move. So, whatever. Okay, but he's still like it was yesterday. So,
what do you think about Espada's fighting style?
Having seen all the episodes to this point, I thought that at first they would focus more on the differences. But they only do that when they have when they're fighting together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the only time that you really see them use distinguishing styles. But his rapier, like a
stabby stab style.
It's like a stabby, yeah. But it fits because of the lightning idea.
Yeah.
So, but again, other than that, that's the only time you see it.
Yeah.
But I dig it.
Yeah, I mean, Blades I think is the most unique, but it could just be because he's only the one like flipping it around all over the place. And I think at this point, Blades is in his hyperbolic time chamber. Was that this episode or is that the next episode? Pretty sure he's in the next episode. It's in the next episode. Okay. I mean, honestly, that's pretty much all that happens in 5. So
yeah, 5 is just that.
The introduction of Espada, you find out the belts resonate and the dragons come out and they create a portal, but we don't know where. I think they mentioned like it's going to open a gateway, but they don't really go farther than that.
And Disaster and Zuos are up to some bullshit. So
Disaster and Zuos are. Oh, that's right, because this is the episode where Blades gets his ass beat. So, which is it was a very intense and well acted moment. I was very surprised.
Let me pull up my notes because I'm an old man.
Yep. Notes. What are those? Gross.
Notes. Who keeps track of it?
I don't do notes. I should, but I don't.
But so that was episode 5. In episodes, we meet the quaternary rider,
Kenzan.
Kenzan, yes. Kenzan is a very, very interesting character in all aspects, all of it. He's intense.
He literally comes in throwing shade at like full volume, like cranked to 11. Just throwing shade at everyone.
He calls him a scrub.
He's straight up a noob, not a scrub, a noob. Get it right.
Excuse me.
Like right out the gate, it's like, here's the intro. Oh, that's cool. Tassel did his thing, and then he's like, "Yo, noob, what's up?" Move out of the way for the men. Kid's like 12.
It was interesting, and he keeps it the whole time.
Yeah.
He gets creepy after a while because he always has that grin, like he's always like.
So
he's always got that. I think his real name is Ren. Yeah, Ren.
Ren. Yeah. So he's very much a kind of anime protagonist, almost like the bombastic kind of anime archetype, exactly. Where he's just like, yeah, woo, yeah, flipping all over the place and stuff. He's a ninja themed writer. Which is kind of dope. So if you were a fan of Shinobi, you'll like this guy too. And his sword is pretty unique because it actually separates into 2.
Yes.
his sacred sword, which is, I don't remember the name of the sacred sword.
Hold on, I might have written it somewhere. Anyway, his thematic is the Three Little Pigs.
Yes, that is the main Wonder Ride book that he uses, is the Three Little Pigs. And he uses it to do all kinds of shenanigans, actually. It's actually a pretty cool book. I thought it was going to be kind of stupid, because when Toma uses it, it's kind of just like, it throws the pigs out, they make walls. That's pretty much it. But when Kenzan starts using it, it gets pretty unique.
Kenzan is an interesting character. Well, when they film his action sequences, you can tell they use a whole different camera system, because he does a lot of flippy shit, and they don't do a lot of wide angles for him. They like to do the following camera, and it's really cool.
Like quick cut, almost like Wizard when he would start doing his flippy stuff. They kind of go to that style where it's quick cuts, because they're probably like bouncing off trampolines and stuff to do all the flips and things. But it's that kind of thing. There's close-ups and flips and cuts, and it is what it is, if that's your preference or not. It's not offensive though in this at all. I think it actually works pretty well for him.
Yeah, I agreed that it's kind of like one of the redeeming things about the show, even as childish the aspects are. One of the redeeming things are the fight sequences. They're really well done. They're really well executed, and they do
seem at least until these last couple episodes that we'll get into in a minute. They seem a little repetitive to me. Or at least they feel a little repetitive, because it's usually like, here's a Megiddo, here's something, and then Caliber's here. You know what I mean?
That the Megiddo are kind of pointless. Like, all right,
as of right now, yeah.
They are very much monster of the week.
Yeah.
And I think it's because the Megiddo themselves are now getting more and more involved.
Yeah. And it's not even like, I think it's weird too, because it's not even like just straight up monster of the week for the excuse of like a new Wonder Ride book, like a new toy.
Right.
Like they just don't become a new toy. They don't do anything. It seems to just be like the plot for the week sort of thing to advance whatever's not happening with Caliber.
Right. Yeah. Whatever B plot they need going on.
Yeah.
And
it does get kind of interesting, honestly, with what's his name? Legiel is the one of them. There's Zuos.
Lego, Zuos, and the other fuck.
Yeah, I don't know the other guy's name. He seems to be the kind of the brain of the operation. From Drive.
He
seems to be brain. He's the concocting plan guy. And this is the episode. I'm sorry. In episode 6 here, once you see that
this is the one.
The two react, you find out that they actually open a gateway to somewhere, so they concoct this plan where they draw Saber out, and Saber actually gets his belt sealed, so he can't henshin anymore. And this is when this also gives Kenzan the opportunity to take center stage for the episode.
Disaster. Every time Disaster is in a scene, he just chews it
steals
all
it, dude.
Bro. He's such a master stroke of this show.
Yep.
Like, I am so excited, because I know he's probably going to be in it till, let's at least say, the second half.
Yeah.
And if they do trash him after that, like, maybe he gets that good guy complex. At least in these episodes, he's dope as hell. So,
yeah. And I'm kind of glad that he's peppered in. He's not just there, kind of like Caliber is, because I feel like he would get kind of old if he was.
Right.
Where if it was like just Disaster and Caliber running up all the time, doing their thing.
Well, the Seiyu has to go do My Hero, so he can't.
He's got to do My Hero, and not that Hunter x Hunter's ever coming back, but he's got to do Hunter x Hunter.
Everything else, like this guy, man.
Listen, I'm just saying, do the Dark Continent. That's all I'm saying. God damn it.
The Dark Continent?
Yeah, so that's the newest Hunter x Hunter arc.
Oh.
Yeah. So as of right now in the manga, at least for what I've seen, I'm not reading it week to week, but they're basically on a boat. You find out that the world that Hunter x Hunter takes place in is like a tiny little, like, in the Caribbean kind of area, and then there's a whole world around everything else. Yeah. So you find out that they're just on like a little grouping of continents, and then there's like, they call it the Dark Continent, because whenever they send hunters out there, no one ever comes back. So they're on their way over there.
Because reasons, or because dumb reasons?
Because reasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure my reasons are in order here. Okay. Anyway, an interesting thing about Disaster is like, I don't think. Well, I think that he's like a Phoenix type character, because Kenzan actually kicks his ass. Like he
straight up beats him.
Yeah, he actually beats him outright. And I thought that was it, but you kind of don't get that feeling because it was so abrupt. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like a true like. It didn't feel like he actually destroyed him. It just felt like he beat him. You know what I mean? Like he poofed. So
I finally found a picture of Disaster. Not to interrupt you.
nice. No, put it up.
Okay, so we've been talking about this dude for the last couple episodes, and we were never able to find a decent picture. Go. But this is Disaster. So he does, if we were talking about how he looks like that one Garo character, he does really look like that Garo character.
Yeah, he really does. And he's voiced by the dude who voices Shigaraki, so come on.
Yeah.
Shigaraki, this is a real character.
A whole bunch of super famous people.
Yeah, so just imagine his voice in that character, and you've got a winning aid.
Yeah.
And
similar personality, too, but he kind of
I was just about to say that. Yeah, he's exactly like those characters.
He's kind of like yada, yada. All right.
Yeah, but it's dope, man. So, So then we get the fight between
Kenzan and
Zuos and
Zuos and Rintaro.
Yeah. So they've been fighting the whole episode, and Zuos was just stomping his ass out.
Yeah.
Because Rintaro can't do 3 volumes. I'm sorry. He tried, but he can't seem to get that power.
Yeah.
And that's what was stopping him from beating him.
Yep.
So, but Zuos kind of has like that Kenpachi syndrome, where he won't,
not even worth my time.
He won't even kill a weakling.
Yeah.
So you get that kind of reprieve that you obviously know, like, well, of course, that's one of the final guys. So obviously that's the end with some kind of excuse. So
yeah, Zuos definitely has the, there is a lot of anime trope like personalities in this show, and he has that kind of katakoi. Yeah, mate, koku karata. That kind of thing going on, where he's just like, I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna hit it real good.
Yeah. I'm gonna boop you.
Yeah, I'm gonna boop you real good with this hand. This hand of mine is glowing blue. So,
and that was pretty much it. That was 6.
You find out that Zuos was also the one who killed the previous Kamen Rider Blades, Rintaro's master.
Yes.
And that's kind of the trigger for Rintaro, which, like I said, he's a very well acted moment. That was like intense in the middle of like normal Saber stuff. I was like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, it's a surprising thing because you don't expect that caliber of acting all of a sudden.
Yeah,
and
it kind of came out of nowhere, honestly, because up until that point, there were some deeper moments. Like Espada had one or two like, I don't want to say like edgelord moments, but they were kind of like the woe is me moment sort of thing.
But I'm thinking it's like but where that's coming from, I don't know. It didn't
feel as like, real as this,
genuine.
Honestly.
Yeah, it's genuine. Exactly. That's it.
And that could be. I'm sure that's I feel like Rintaro we spent some time with. Espada, it was like, here he is, and here's his issue. That kind of thing. You know what I mean? So it could have just been a matter of like we just didn't let it cook long enough. So. Well,
true. Very true. Because we met Rintaro like this weird ass dude on the back of a Lego lion.
Shows up on the back of a lion.
Okay, what's up, bro?
Hey.
So yeah, but yeah, that was it for 6.
Well, I mean, let's talk more about Kenzan and the Disaster fight because we kind of just glanced over that. So we get this introduction. Yeah, so we kind of get this big introduction to Kenzan and his fighting style, and they go into the book world, so it becomes very CG. But he does this really cool thing with the 3 little pigs, like I said, that, is when Toma used it, it was very, I don't know, basic, I guess is the word. I mean, like, I think he really just used it. Yeah, he just used it. Like, he built a house and then he blew it up. Like, he built a straw house and then he lit it on fire, literally.
And that wasn't that bad. I mean, that was kind of cool, too.
It was cool.
But
Yeah, but then Kenzan gets a hold of this thing and he's making clones of himself. He creates the 3 pigs make 3 brick walls, and he starts hiding behind them because he can move really fast. And he does this really cool finisher where he makes his swords into like a big shuriken, and he hurls the shit out of it.
Found it.
You found it?
That's how dope this is. That I found it the first search. I didn't have to dig. Look at that! Bam.
Move this up a little bit so they can see
it's
it.
Probably. I didn't check the language, but
it's fine.
Okay.
I'll let that rock because I muted anyway. I don't want to get flagged because they're super hard on their audio stuff now on Twitch.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, Kenzan is what you would think is a ninja rider with 2 swords. Quick, speedy, messing around, that kind of thing. And he does some cool stuff with the scarf. He basically learned it from Disaster too. He's like, oh, I can do that too.
Yeah, I mean,
kind of cool.
Let's not sell short the sequence. This sequence is amazing. Like, this is when in the heat of the moment, because this is like almost, I think it's the middle of the episode. I can't remember, but anyway, whatever's happening, this is like enhancing that moment because you're getting to see it. Like, dude, he creates a clone of, but no, he hides behind one of the brick walls that they make, right?
Yep.
And then he's
just dashing around behind him.
Wall. He's flipping. He's like doing these crazy zips, like it's almost like anime. It's almost like you were filming.
Yeah. He's zipping around,
anime.
and then he's just hiding behind it. Yep. Then he flips it and goes at him. Yep.
It's very anime, very anime.
It's
but
pretty cool,
good.
though. Well, yeah, like it's interesting to watch at least, especially for this weird CG running thing happening. I don't know. He's running across the scars when Disaster does this, like, get over here with a whole bunch of scarf
like a
things.
tendril type of thing.
Yeah. But it's pretty cool. Oh, and at this point, they figure out that the reason that the belts resonated is because it's a gateway to Avalon, and Avalon is the resting place of King Arthur. And there's apparently a super secret power, and they're trying to get there. And you find out that the original 13, which I think we've seen all 13 at this point in the show, that are required for this. There's like an ancient sword technique or something, and then it opens the gateway.
He does some kind of like ritual type thing.
He does this like ritual thing, and this is all to unseal Toma's belt.
Yeah.
So,
and then in Caliber just backwards talk jutsu.
He literally just does the incantation backwards, and it's just like, nah, you don't need the rest of it. That's fine.
I was like, I didn't even bother. I think I was doing something like whatever, like making a note, and I heard him speak. I was like, that's just backwards. What is that?
Backwards Japanese is even weirder.
It was just so obvious. But anyway, so that's how he gets his portal to Avalon.
Yes.
So they make a lot of the anime choices in this episode because Rintaro in the hyperbolic time chamber, he starts to see his master, and he has like that Piccolo Gohan moment.
Yeah.
It's very Piccolo Gohan. But anyway, he goes because he's trying to master the 3-volume thing. It just every time he does it, he gets like electrocuted or it blows up or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's their body does not agree with 3 volumes, so he's got to train that. And the episode ends with Toma actually getting a 3rd Red Wonder Ride book, which plays into a factor later. But it's called Storm Eagle. It's kind of cool. He just basically creates fire tornadoes.
I like it. I like it a lot.
So pretty cool.
We skipped a lot in there though.
Yeah. Honestly, the main part is they're trying to get to Avalon, which is, holds the super secret power, which I thought was going to be more of like a mid-season upgrade than what it turned out to be. But I also feel like they're getting these forms and things at like breakneck speeds.
Because I think, hold on one sec. Sorry. Yeah, right.
Is it too soon to make jokes? Can I just be over 2020 at this point? Can I just make COVID jokes? I know it's a very serious problem, but it's how I deal with things. That's how I cope.
I know. We're dark. That's how we do it.
Yeah.
But so I get the whole these I don't even think they're power-ups though. They're just like they're weapons. They're
the Wonder Ride books.
You can't call them forms. I mean, I don't even know what to call them.
They're not forms. They're more like the build bottles, that kind of stuff. Like they act very similarly. Like, you can hot swap to whatever. There's not really a form, but you just kind of hot swap to whatever. And then there's like best match kind of things where they synchronize a lot more than, the other forms. So,
and the best matches are coming.
So yeah, I think this episode ends with them getting into Avalon because Espada does his little dance thing. If not, it's very early in the next episode. They get to Avalon.
Well, he fights some kind of creature, being, entity, thing, whatever.
Who?
Toma. When he
Oh, when he gets to Avalon. Yeah. I'm saying before he even gets there. When they first get in, they kind of do this weird, like, that's definitely the area. So there's a lot of reused areas in this, and I don't know if it's because of COVID or they just, save money. They had good deals, hookups for that location kind of thing. So when they first get to Avalon, they're in this desert, and there's a lot of like Instagram filters all over it. Like there's weird, trippy, like it's like techno-y, almost like tie-dye kind of going on. And
it looks like Gears of War 1 when that first came out.
Yes, that's pretty much what it looks like. But it also looks very, very similar to the desert where they filmed Kamen Rider Kabuto's movie in in the opening scene. So there's a hill, there's everything. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same spots, honestly. And then,
I mean, yeah. And then again, later on at Avalon.
In Avalon, yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. But they do a very interesting thing that I wanted, like, as I was watching it, I theorized that was kind of weird because at this point we know that, for all context that we have, we know that Caliber is Kento or Espada's father. But they start hiding his face, which is weird because we've seen, he does the turn and then they get this kind of after image of Kento's father, and then we've seen what his father looks like. So I thought it was very strange that they hide his face. He's just a dude in a suit and they like hard shadow him.
Yeah, and the voice modulator thing, like they
and the voice modulated thing, and it's like, it's kind of like, why would you do that if we know who it is? So it was just strange to me. That was a weird thing where I was like, I don't. Yeah, some don't smell right.
right.
So yeah, and then so Espada goes with Toma. Kento goes with Toma, and they, he tries to hold off Caliber.
Because Toma can't henshin at this point.
Yes, Toma can still not henshin. Again, this is the whole point. They're trying to, unseal his belt. And so Espada goes with him, tries to hold off Caliber, and at one point the two belts start reacting, and that creates the gateway that allows Toma to run through as Espada's holding back his father.
It's the whole prophecy thing with the two dragons opening.
Yeah, two dragons open a gate to Avalon and whatever story they decide to do. So he goes into the tropey white light room, where there's a hooded white figure who is talking to him. Yeah, the architect, quite literally. Which I'm assuming that person's going to play.
Wouldn't that have been amazing if it was just some fucking
yo, dude.
Yeah?
Just some old redneck with like a white beater on, like picking his belly button. Yow.
You too?
Y'all find a way out yet.
Hey, well, I ain't expect you so soon.
Gangrene Gus is waiting for him.
Wait, hold on. Well, howdy, how you doing there?
Champ just comes out with a sandwich. Oh, hey there, how you doing?
Champ, get your ass back in the hood.
Okay there, don't you know?
Holy crap.
Oh man, blast from the past.
Yeah, no, I cannot do that for a long time.
No, I have lost the ability to do that for many, many eons.
Oh, holy crap. Oh, wow.
So that is a harken back to a YouTube channel we did probably a good 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
So yeah, where were we at all with this?
So Toma runs into the white light and he meets the architect. We're just going to call him the architect because I don't know who he is. Yeah. But he says,
he's just a hooded guy.
He's just a hooded figure in white in a white room, and it's kind of like.
But they're not hiding his face. Like, he has a face.
He's out of focus.
We just don't know who he is.
Yeah, we just have no idea who he is because they do. When he leaves, they zoom in on his face like we're supposed to know who it is, but I don't know who it is.
Legit,
I was like, oh, that guy, cool. I
rewatched all the episodes just to be caught up, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't recognize.
Yeah, it's kind of like Daishinji. They're just like assume that I guess. I don't know. Unless there's a movie.
So we'll probably know who he is in like 3 episodes.
Yeah, and they'll be like, oh, you didn't know, you idiot? What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you? That's Mac.
Yeah, so Toma, he tells Toma, like, if you want the power, you have to believe in the heart of the cards and all this kind of thing. Yeah. And so Toma does this battle with this weird ghost spirit thing. I don't know what it was. It was weird. It almost looked like Omen and Killer Instinct. Like, I'm gonna pull a picture of this dude.
It actually kind of looked like an Ultraman. It looked like an Ultraman silhouette.
Yeah, it was weird. Like, this is when I was watching the episode, this is what he looked like to me. Hang on, let me get a good picture here because this dude's kind of weird looking. Where is it? Yeah. Because this guy's like kind of see through, so it's hard to see him.
Hold on.
So this is Omen in Killer Instinct, which is a fighting game, and he just kind of looks like this. It's just kind of this weird, like foggy creature thing that shoots blue fire everywhere.
Yeah, it's such a. Hold on, I think I can.
It's weird. And then it just gets bigger randomly. But going back to reusing locations, the location where they fight, if you didn't notice, was where Baron gets lemon energy.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was the. Yep. They reuse an area that's in Kamen Rider Gaim. It's in a whole bunch of them, I'm sure. But specifically, I remembered it from being where Baron gets one of his upgrades for lemon energy. They reuse locations all the time. Like we've seen the Fudo headquarters a couple times in series since W, that kind of stuff. So
I stole a screen of it.
Yeah, this thing. See, like it just looks like Omen to me. That's all it looked like.
Yeah.
So
I just saw like Ultraman, but whatever, same thing.
Yes, essentially. So Toma gets the King of Arthur, as they call it in this, because
King of Arthur.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the voice though? Doesn't it feel like so typical? Like
the belt voice thing?
Yeah, the belt voice. There's just no, like, it's so expected. Like, I don't know.
I think it works well for these like paragraphs that it says every time they mention. I think it works really well for that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're right. That it does work for, but everything else is just like, it's so meh. Like, okay, yeah, of course. That's like what. Like I kind of knew how the King of Arthur thing was gonna sound like.
Yes, I get what you're saying with that. Yeah, it was typical. So this is King of Arthur and Blade Dragon, I think it's called. This is that combination. I'll blow this up.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean,
no, it's not bad at all. I like the sword. I dig the big King Arthur sword thing.
Yes,
it's pretty dope. He just kind of in this he doesn't do a whole lot, and I honestly don't like what it does later. Personally,
boy, but, what the frick is that?
So that's the next episode. But this essentially he beats this shadowy dude by doing like big dumb slashes. Big energy CG slashes, and that's pretty much
2 or 3 Hadoukens, something like that.
So that's really what it is. He gets 2 swords, and he just does some energy slashes, and he gets the power. And when he comes out of the light, Caliber is kind of like, "Whoa, see if you can master that power."
Like, good luck, and like, okay, all right, that's what that was all about.
As he like runs away, I was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool, I guess." So yeah, the episode ends, and it immediately starts with, like we were saying, it shows the figure in white's face. And he gives him that little blank book.
Yes, or not little. It's huge, actually. I'm sorry, it's a huge blank book.
It's that big chunky guy, right? It's kind of like the ones in the last episode, which we'll talk about in a minute. It looked like that, right? Okay, I thought so. I didn't remember, honestly.
Yeah, no, he's a huge.
Which alludes to they're essentially going to be super forms, because Caliber gets one in the coming episode.
And Caliber gets a good one.
It's a good one. It looks real cool. I have some pictures up there, so when we talk about it, we'll get to that.
We'll get there. That's what those random ones are up there.
Yeah. Anyway, so Toma gets his belt back, yada yada yada.
Yeah,
and they come back, and it kind of turns into, they have a little like, "Hey team, let's go," and Toma gets like randomly inspired to start writing again. And May, being May, is.
I get it though. Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. If anyone's ever fell into the creative hole where you just don't write, all of a sudden, like, you stub your toe and you're like, I have 37 ideas.
Like, suddenly, I know where to direct this rage.
Yes. So it's, you find out that the Megiddo have another plan to, mess up the world. And in this time, I believe they introduced the ducks in this one. No, that's the next episode.
No, that's the next one. This one, we
find
go
out
back
there's
to
more
base.
Medusa. That's what it is.
Yeah, and we get the dopest cameo of all cameos this year, Mr. Dangerous and June's useless ass.
Yes, I forgot about that. So they recently did. If anyone has seen Kamen Rider Gaim, they did a Kamen Rider Bravo, and I forget his Kamen Rider name.
He's so.
It's the
back burner.
The mallet, chestnut, whatever he is.
Yeah,
walnut.
Gridon. I think.
Gridon. Yeah, Gridiron. Gridiron.
Whatever. Him.
And they have a little cameo because they have a special coming out. So they get frozen by Medusa, and then when they're unfrozen, they just kind of run away, and that's their cameo. But we have a really cool moment with Ogami being Ogami, and like always, they set it up with Sora, his son, being adorable. And then
Yeah.
as they're fighting, they're kind of, you're seeing this kind of out of unison. They're not really a team thing happening. And Ogami tells Toma, you better win this.
Distracted. Yeah, Toma's distracted on how to use King of Arthur thing.
Yeah. So he has this power, and it's not. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. At the beginning of the episode, him and Caliber have another fight, and he kind of just gets his ass beat, and that worries him because he has this huge power now, and he can't draw it out and that kind of stuff. And Caliber's just taunting him the whole time, saying you don't deserve this power if you can't use it, yada yada yada. So that's weighing on him at this point, and Ogami sees that and sacrifices himself to kind of spur Toma on, knowing that this'll it'll be the catalyst.
You knew that it was coming, but even then you're like, yo, come on, you didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
He could have just not really, but you know what I'm saying? He had her head. He could have headbutted, he just had options.
Yeah.
All I'm saying.
He's the big strong dude. He literally could have just game over. Snap. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
I know it's a kid's show and they would never do that, but
right.
Could have spun it 360 and he would have won.
If suddenly that the writer of the episode was like, I feel John Wick coming.
That's one of those things where like they do the leave in some really bad stuff so the not so bad stuff stays in for censorship, and they just have Ogami swinging with a big penis pure naked in the sort of logos, and they're like, well, if you take that out, I'll keep the neck break.
Yeah, that's how they just sneak that shit.
Yeah, that's how they do most of that stuff with censorship. They do a bunch of really terrible stuff to make the other stuff not so bad.
But you know what? All right, just because we were shit kicking it right there, the moment itself, when Toma comes back to base and he has to tell Sora that his pops ain't make it, it really wasn't that bad. You know what I mean? It wasn't that in your face about overacting and about.
Well, I mean, he didn't really say anything.
That's what I mean.
He just kind of dropped the sword in his hands and walked off.
That's what I preferred. It wasn't that
True.
whole.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Your father protected me. Yeah,
my fault. You know what I mean?
It was definitely one of those moments where less was more.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It was better done that way.
Yeah. So I think overall the moment was good for the episode, but I think I really want them to take that leap. It was another one of these moments where I was hoping. I mean, not that I want Ogami to die, because I really like Ogami, but I wanted them to take that plunge into the no, this is war essentially, and you get your first sacrifice, and that's really what turns them around. And I mean, it's still early. We're episode 8 at this point, I believe, 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So it's still very early.
Right now we're on 8.
Yeah. And
you really
so
get
much
that
has happened in 8 episodes.
how you damn, bro.
It's just, I was thinking about it when I was finishing 10, and I was just
we're 10 episodes in, and all of this has happened.
Yeah, it's awesome and worrying all at the same time. Because it's can you keep this pace up for 50 episodes? Is there enough?
Because right now, it feels like, as of 10 episodes, we've met the established characters.
Yeah.
And everything else that's going to come is going to be 6th Ranger type of status. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But they also threw in something when we get to episode 10 where it's kind of I can see where they could use that as the next arc. You know what I mean?
Okay, we'll get there. So, all right, let's finish 8. But in 8, he Sora comes back after Toma tells him, your dad's dead. He tells him, fuck up, Buttercup. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
Sora, the 4-year-old, is yo, dude, how about you stop being a puss?
Yeah, legit. It's hey,
legit. He goes, why aren't you smiling? Smile, smile, do it. And Toma's
is it weird? He has that right. When
yes.
He says his
I mean, I'm sure he's losing all his baby teeth and stuff because he's hey.
No, I know. I just heard it. I was oh, that's adorable.
Yeah. I just think it's funny that they have the same personality. I thought that was a really nice touch where it's kind of they're just both big dumb idiots, and it's very much this is definitely Diet Ogami. I like that. That was a nice little touch.
Hey, just promise me you'll win next
Yeah.
Okay, don't stress the whole dead dad thing. No problem.
I know my dad's dead, and I'm going to deal with that later in therapy. But just wait. Just can you do that for me?
So, all right. So then something happens in this episode that I really, really liked a lot, bro. Like one of my favorite film things. For example, like the Ocean's movies.
Mm-hmm.
One of the major reasons, actually probably the reason I like the movies, is when they do the plan and then they're cutting back and forth between the plan itself and then the planning of it.
Yeah, that's a
They
cool
do
little
that
trope. I will admit that too. Yeah, I do like that. It's interesting.
In this episode, they do that with their battle plan on how they're going to approach, to how they're going to make this work. To save,
because they're still dealing with the Medusas, and then they're also dealing with Caliber and the Megiddos that are showing up, and because Legiel, yeah, that's his name, right? Legiel, is interfering, and so is Zuos isn't really in this one as much. Zuos takes like a backseat for a couple episodes, and I don't think the other dude's really doing anything either. He's just kind of at the base planning, but Legiel,
it seems like that's. I think if they keep that rotation going, that's gonna work out for them, like in terms of keeping the plot up. If what happens is each of these Megiddos suddenly decide, well, I want one thing and I want another, which is kind of seems like what they're doing with them.
Yeah, it's starting to kind of, as they get more stuff, it's kind of like they all have their own outset and goals. So it's kind of, as they get farther in that plan, it's putting a little bit of a divide between them. But there's still a hierarchy almost, because I feel like...
I don't think so. I don't think there's like a... Well, I feel like there might be an elder... Like, I don't know, like I don't get the sense that they're reporting to anybody yet. Just this book.
Yeah.
But anyway, so back to the whole thing. In the following scene where they're fighting them, they start to suddenly reveal that this situation where it looked like they were losing was Toma's plan from the outset. So they start cutting back and forth between Toma writing out this plan at his desk and them actually executing it, where they're breaking out into different teams to take on certain Megiddo and Caliber. It's dope. I mean, it's done really well for me. That's why I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm biased as hell because to me, those are one of my favorite sequences. You put that in any movie, and if you do it right, I'm good. Like, I'll enjoy the hell out of that if you do it right.
Yeah, it's sorry, there was someone. I'm trying to ban a bot in Twitch chat right now. Yeah, it's spamming out shit. So yeah, essentially it's really cool because you see, like, he's talking about how Kento and Kento and Kenzan have like really good synergy, which I thought was weird because I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
it kind of came out of nowhere. Like, I didn't really see them.
Those two together fighting together. You know what I mean? Like their styles are different. And again, here you see the difference in their techniques when they're fighting. Like, you can actually see how Kenzan is doing the flippy stuff.
Yeah.
And then Espada is just like straight. I don't know. It's just it was one of the things that sold this whole scene was the execution of it. It was filmed well, it was edited well, and then Kenzan does his little shadow clone jutsu.
Yes, he uses the pigs to do his shadow clones, and so they basically push Caliber onto like this bridge thing, and it's really cool because you see Espada doing like stabbing and all over the place, and then Kenzan will flip over him and do all kinds of stuff, and then like he'll spin back, and Kento will come up and start stabbing again. It was really cool. It was very It was cool to see them use like the environment to kind of do that and kind of coax him. So, yeah. I
mean, and then you have Blades fighting Legolas. He's doing his, and since now he's got the whole swagger to fight. Now he's just tearing him up, and then Saber takes on both of the Medusas at the same time.
Yeah.
To finally get the juju to use the King of Arthur thing, and then a really so moment happens. I kind of want to like it a lot more than I don't, but I don't know if I can.
With King Arthur?
So
yeah, I don't know.
all right. So the King of Arthur ride book gives Toma the ability to summon it, essentially. And when he's when he summons the King of Arthur power, the sword itself becomes a mecha.
Yeah.
It's like it when you see it happen, you're like, oh, that kind of makes sense. But then you realize why? Why are they doing that? Like, that doesn't have to be a thing. Now I get, we had the in 01, we had the mammoth thing for like 2 episodes. Yeah. So like I think this is gonna go that same route.
He reminded me of Robo Knight in it's Megaforce in Power Rangers, but I forget what the Sentai is called. But the Sixth Ranger in that one, the angel themed one, where they have the like staff things. Go-Sager. I'm sorry.
Go-Sager. Oh, you mean Go-Say Knight?
Yeah, Go-Say Knight. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that because he's like the big sword that turns into like a robot and starts fighting, that kind of thing.
Okay.
It very much reminded me of that. I don't know. Like I liked so when you're doing it or when he's using it, it has this kind of it has this. If anyone's seen Bleach, it has this Tengen Myo kind of thing going on, where like when he slashes, the big sword slashes, that kind of stuff.
Yes, it's very Tengen.
Yes, Tengen Myo.
But then it takes it a step further because since the sword becomes a giant mecha person, he uses Saber as his sword person.
Literally picks him up and a sword pops out of Saber's head, and I thought that was absolutely hilarious.
I couldn't understand what I was watching. I'm like, okay, so he's the sword for the weapon man.
And
sword.
He was confused, like, what?
It's just like, sure, okay, that's
sure.
So we went. Saber suddenly went from here to here for me because if I accepted that, let's just ride it. Why not? Let's go all the way. After that moment, the Gaim cameo people come back. So I'm gonna say like whatever special they did takes place within the time frame of this episode. So. Because whatever that movie's about is supposed to be some kind of alternate world, right?
Yes. I'm gonna assume it's gonna take place in like the Wonder Ride world kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I honestly just don't know. We'll see.
That's what I'm going with. But anyway, so okay. Then that's pretty much the end of the episode because they just go back to base. They have their little, hey, Ogami's alive type of moment. And, the kid had his little cute moment. But we see something fun because Daishinji, Tetsuo, his name is Tetsuo. I forgot to.
Is it?
Yeah.
So is it Tetsuo Daishinji? Or Daishinji Tetsuo? Whatever.
No. Well, yeah, whatever. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
First name is Tetsuo.
Yeah.
So... Anyway, I'm calling him Daishinji. Daishinji suddenly has the a Wonder Ride book in his hand, and we only see it for like a second, but we can tell it's a magenta pinkish book. So we get another magenta pink rider. Awesome.
He's been working on his sword in the background. Sorry, I'm still trying to figure out this thing.
This bot thing.
Yeah, this bot thing. So, I mean, I got rid of him, but I do apologize. I'm not very active in the conversation right now. That's what happens when you do these things live.
We're doing it live, man.
Doing it live. So he's been working on it in the background. You find out he's, in the last couple episodes, we found out that he's kind of the one who repairs the swords and checks out the Wonder Ride books and always studying them. And he's got this little desk in the middle of the sort of logos that's, it analyzes books and things like that whenever they get new stuff. And he repairs the swords. And he's been working on his own sword. He's repairing his sword, I should say, because Ogami knows he's a rider, and you find out he was a rider at some point, and he kind of pep talks Toma at one point where he's like, "Hey man, like sometimes you got to just let it go." And
he's an interesting character.
He's a very interesting character. I like it a lot, and
his quirks are interesting. He avoids eye contact constantly.
Yeah, he literally puts his hand up.
He'll go like, yeah, it's like but he's so straight and I don't even know how to express it because he's so direct with his lines, but yet
he's very stoic almost, but it's without the like confidence.
But there's a timbre in his voice. You know what I mean? Like it's not
there's a timbre in his voice.
It's not so deadpan. But anyway,
no. But he's very much like a to the point, I guess would be the way I would describe it.
Yeah.
He's very, it's not extra, it's not that, but he's also timid at the same time.
Because of the whole.
So you find out he's working on his sacred sword, which is Suzune. Is that what it was called? Suzune, I believe.
Suzune, yeah.
The Sword of Echoes, which is a cool ass name. Oh man,
I liked it. I liked it.
Cool name. I love this writer, honestly. So
yeah,
I love this writer.
Like his design is very interesting. It's very interesting because it's not like the others.
It's not like the others at all. And I don't know if it's kind of like a weird hybrid of he fixed the sword, and so it kind of has this techno look compared to the other ones, or what?
Oh, that's a good theory. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, when you see it, he's in the basement, and it has all the stuff hooked up to the sword, and he's trying to I don't know if he's trying to fuse it back together or just fix it or what, because we don't know what happened to the sword. He just doesn't have it. I'm going to assume it has something to do with the thing 15 years ago.
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be like he got defeated.
Yeah,
because he's definitely older than the rest of them, but not by a lot.
Him and Ogami have known each other a long time, and he's obviously been part of the Sword of Logos for a long time. Yeah,
but he doesn't look very much older, but he is older.
Yeah.
But anyway, but my first impression of it when I saw the design, I'm like, holy crap, that's an Xaid fused with a Saber rider. That's what I'm looking at. Those are the vibes
with Decade's color scheme.
Right, yeah, and you throw Decade's color. But yeah, like immediate reaction. So at first I was like, I wonder why he looks so different.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with this theory now that you pitched about him tinkering with his stuff. Maybe
it might have something to do with it. Or at least that may be the idea behind the mentality, but the design, whether they say like that's it or not.
Yeah.
So.
But that's what I mean. Like I like this whole. It grew on me because at first I was like, and now I'm like, okay, yeah, that's dope. But I want you to talk about why he's even doper.
So yeah, I just put a link up as soon as it loads here. It's been a wad of his henshin and
Oh, you got his henshin. Nice.
Yeah, I got his henshin. I don't know why it's not loading though. Anyway, so I like him because, like you said, he was very much not a thing when he first shows up. Like he's just there. He's literally just there, and you're like, oh, he's the Alfred. He's the support. Yeah. He's the fix the stuff. He's that and this, and you're like, oh, he used to be a writer, and oh, that's kind of cool. So it's cool because again, he's very timid. He's very, kind of strange and weird.
You would think that the character that he is, when he henshins, it's gonna be kind of like him in a suit. You know what I mean?
Like and at first it's very much what I expected, other than the design. It's what I expected. So at first, when he first henshins, his thing with his sword is it's a gun and a sword. It can change between a gun and a sword. So when he first henshins, and can you try and post the link? Mine's not loading up the actual video in the Discord.
I'll get it.
He's very much like the swordsman. Like it's very much a very disciplined, very straightforward swordsman. Like he's doing EI draws into stances and sheathing the sword again and then doing it again. Very abrupt, very purposeful movements. And you're like, okay, that's a cool design. A little wild of a design, but why is he... Okay, not what I thought. And then he uses his Wonder Ride book, which is... also, the one he henshins with into his base form is Hansel and Gretel.
Yes. Let's talk about that for a sec, because you suddenly understand his color scheme and his design, kind of, because it's very... When he Hansel and Gretel itself is very fairy tale, it's the fairy tale of the candy house. So when he henshins, all you see are these crazy colors and these crazy effects.
Yep.
So and it's like, now you understand that it's not a reflection of him. It's the power that just so happens to be his. Is super colorful,
and
which
it's
is
also
awesome.
It's pretty interesting because Hansel and Gretel's a story about two people, and he literally has two personalities when he fights, and that's kind of what I love about him. So it's it's almost like a telling of what happened. I'm trying to get there. It is. Got it. Okay. So this is his henshin. Sorry for people listening to the audio podcast that you can't see, and we just wasted time trying to do it. But he very much uses that too. They keep that in line with how he fights as a character, and you'll see these crazy colors, and he does some slashes into a stab, and that becomes his face mask thing, and like all the other riders, and there's candy all over the place. It's candy. Yeah, that's essentially why it's so bright and crazy. It's candy.
Yeah, it's candy, cupcakes. It's sweets all over the place. So it works. I understand it now, and it makes me like it even more. Yeah. So,
but then once he gets his secondary form, where he uses, I don't remember what the name of the Wonder Ride book is, honestly.
Bremen. Hold on, I wrote
Bremen
it
no
down.
Boom or something like that, or Bremen no Band.
Bremen no Rock Band.
Yeah, I don't know what the actual story is supposed to be, but the sword becomes a gun. And he becomes literally a member of Team Yell from Pokemon. Is the easiest way to describe it.
He becomes batshit crazy.
He goes nuts, and I love every second of it. Like he's just wow, yeah. This like super timid, like don't look at me. He's just
all of a sudden he's like, yeah, let's go! Holy shit, let's just kick some ass. Saber! I like the way he says Saber. Saber!
And it's funny because the way he yells is supposed to be like guitar twangs, when they wow, and he's just yelling and that's just him yelling.
That's true. He speaks in that pattern.
It's crazy. And so it's just so funny and jarring at the same time, and that's why I love him so much. Like I'm a fan of anything that you're just super metal. Just metal is all fuck. I'm all.
If you're out of your show. Just embrace it.
Just embrace it. Like that's why I love Warhammer. Everything is just like a metal cover. It's so cool. That's why I play Chaos. So, but this dude, he's just like, like he's sticking his tongue out inside his helmet. Like you could just hear it.
And he's just so excited, just so damn excited.
So excited, and it's so cool. So when he uses the gun, it kind of has this like, this is definitely like a they use the wizard gun at some point, the gun sword. Because it has the same look to it. It has the same everything, but it even shoots the same.
Yeah, same mechanism, right? It just plops.
Yeah, it looks like they just took the hand and then like made it into the book holder. That's essentially what happened. But yeah, it does the same kind of thing where the bullets track and all this kind of stuff, and it's just so fun to watch him do his thing. It really is.
And you can't see this character doing that outside of this suit. So that's going to be fun for us to be able to enjoy that every time he henshins.
And they even call him out on it in the next episode. At the beginning of the next episode, they're like, "Hey man, your personality changed." He was like, "No, it didn't.
No, it didn't." That's kind of like no, that's not somebody else. That's you all the time. That's you. Yeah. Okay.
He was like, "No, I don't know. What do you mean? Huh? What?"
No. So all right, so let's. That was a lot about Slash. Oh, by the way, his name is Kamen Rider Slash. Yeah. So the episode itself, basically we get introduced to probably my favorite Megiddo in a long time. It's the ugly duckling
quack.
One. Bro, he summons it, it quacks, and I was like, I love it.
I love literally the first thing it does, it comes out and goes quack.
Quack. Okay, all right, let's go.
Yeah, and so this also starts because there's an army of 5 of them, so all 5 riders now have to like go after them. And
which is going to be interesting how they do it here forward, but
so like, the entire point is
going to be all fairy tales. That have like multiple characters.
It's going to have to, dude. I don't know, man. It's we'll see, but they're trying to create a stronger thing for Caliber. They're trying to get something that rivals King Arthur essentially, and they find out
by using that book thingy, the hand that's this whole time. Every time they do one of their plots,
book
this hand has kept writing in that book. So just think that's constantly going on.
They're trying to recreate the like original Wonder Book, whatever it was called, that all these pages are from.
Yeah.
So that's what this hand is doing, and it's creating, other things, Wonder Ride books, and I'm sure that's how they got most of their stuff. And the idea is that if they siphon off the power of essentially all the books that we've seen so far, the main ones anyway, like the ones that they used to Henshin and things like that, that they can create this uber powerful, like King Arthur rival kind of thing.
Right.
So that's the plot point here. They're using the Five Ducks to take their Wonder Ride books, and so they can create this extra book. And Caliber is being Caliber. You kind of
Caliber is just Caliber, man.
Yeah, so he's doing, they're fighting, and Caliber is becoming like a mainstay in the episodes now. Like he's more of the issue than he was before, kind of just popping in. Like he's most of the episodes nowadays.
Still present. Yeah, he's more present. Yeah.
And he's doing his Jakku Dragon slashes, dark slashes, and he's just like eating anything that they throw at him. And I believe this is the episode where he gets Journey to the West, J to the West for Toma.
It's called hold on. It's called
J2 West. Something like that.
Seiyu Journey.
Seiyu Journey. There you go.
Seiyu Journey.
It's Journey to the West. It's the Monkey King.
Seiyu Journey. Journey.
It's Monkey King. It's Sansan. It's Goku. It's
whatever
iteration you want to call it. It's the Monkey King. It's Journey to the West.
It says I wrote the adventures of a certain monkey and the wondrous journey he went on. So that's
I like this book.
Journey to the West.
I like this book a lot. I have
the form.
Yeah, the form. So this is where we get introduced to where we learn about wonder combos. So this is the 3-volume sets that are like specific to a Kamen Rider.
The complete
one.
Form.
And this is Toma's. So this is the Flame Dragon. I think it was just called Flame Dragon, right?
Crimson Dragon.
Crimson Dragon. I'm sorry, Crimson Dragon. So this is his complete red form. And you can see on his left arm there, that's the Seiyu to the West. And then he's got Storm Eagle in the middle, which is the one he got from Disaster when Kenzan defeated him. And then he's got his dragon. I really, really like these forms. Really do.
Did you get the rabbit vibe?
Yes, kind of. Yes. I know what you're saying with that, sort of. But I also, because they were so disjointed for me from the beginning, I like this. Right. This feels more of like a rider to me.
I don't dislike it. I just can't. I don't immediately distinguish it from Rabbit.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it's still dope. It's still dope. Like,
and then in this one, so with Seiyu to the West, the whole thing is he can do the power pole like on his forearm. It's the power pole. He can poke people with it. It's pretty cool. That's
dope, man.
It's pretty cool.
And then he rides on Nimbus.
He can ride Nimbus too, which the power pole thing seems to be exclusive to the Crimson Dragon form because he only used it when he was in Crimson Dragon. But otherwise, he can use Nimbus and kind of fly around and do whatever, do some Son Goku stuff.
I dig it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I believe, because we were already introduced to Rintaros at this point, I just don't remember what it was called. So this is Rintaros, if anyone's following us on the Discord.
I don't know.
I don't remember what it was called, but this is his 3-volume set. It's Pegasus, Lion Senki, and Peter Fantasia.
Peter Fantasia.
Yeah. And so that's Crimson Dragon. He does his final attack, which is this big. This is where I kind of want to get into where my issues are with these forms.
Okay.
So he does this big kind of like blasty blast fire boom whatever slash, all kinds of like fire and stuff flying at him, and it's kind of cool because Caliber, like, you find out he can only absorb so many attacks. So they find out the Caliber is absorbing attacks.
They all basically take turns kicking his ass. So
they all just go nuts on him. So he's absorbed like 3 final attacks at this point, and he's like, "Oh, I can't do it anymore." So he grabs one of the ducks and throws him in front.
It's just like, "Hey, thanks."
Yeah, I can't do anymore. And then he literally just ducks behind it, and the duck explodes. It's pretty funny. My thing with this is we don't have rider kicks. We do, but we don't.
Espada tends to focus on his kick.
He's really the only one, and his kick is literally just Decade's kick, so I think it's garbage.
I get it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So, like, my thing is, like, they all seem to have a kick, and it seems to be like a 2-volume thing. When they have 2 volumes, they'll do the kicks. That seems to be the finisher. The 1 volume is typically just whatever slash. Or whatever, ability. When they do the 3-volume, Rintaro gets this kind of cool like bubble prison, almost like Zabuza and Naruto. He gets like a bubble prison, and then he just kind of does like a blast of water. It's fine. Yeah, I need some rider kicks.
Typical. It's nothing it's nothing breaking the.
It's nothing unique, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like bigger CG ear slashes. Seems to be the typical thing. Like when Espada does his kick, he does like a teleport through them, almost like Fies, where he'll teleport through them, and then it does like the book pages, almost like Decade. It's a weird combination of the two. It's fine. I don't know. I like both of those, so it's fine.
I like it, man, but
it's fine. I want more. It's Kamen Rider. I need kicks.
Yeah.
I get it. You're trying to be different. Like you got to make every rider feel the same, but like, give me a legitimate kick, even if you don't use it that often. Give me a real like signature rider kick. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
That with the power up, we'll see.
Maybe, yeah, that's certainly possible. We got forms for days, clearly. So.
Does this feel like an official power up, or is it just like
this feels like the true base form? Is what this feels like to me.
It's like a super. It's like a super form, right?
Yeah, like it's kind of like I don't want to say Tokon boost because that was probably more of a base.
No, but... I think that's right. No, I think it's exactly the same. Yeah, because Tokon boost is just a base form for his power ups. Yeah. So I think that's a fair assessment. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna because I don't feel like this is powerful enough. Yeah. I don't feel like this is that special. But at the same time, I don't know.
But to be fair, also, I think if this is how Kamen Rider Saber debuted, I would hate it. Like if this was the first form I saw of Kamen Rider Saber, I would probably be like, "What? This is so busy. What is happening?" If they just went straight out the gate with the O's thing, where he just had like a complete combo, I'd be like, "Ooh." Okay.
But that's kind of what this feels like. Like the whole idea should be to mix and match.
Yeah, it definitely is what it is. So it's definitely like more of an O's thing. Yeah. This is I would equate this to a combo because it even acts the same. Like it takes a huge toll in their body and things like that. So. Yeah, that's Crimson Dragon, and that's pretty much the main, hook of this episode. And they're trying to just absorb the power so that Caliber can get a power up, which takes us to episode 10, which might be my favorite episode so far.
It's definitely the busiest with plot.
Yes,
it has.
That might be why.
Like it starts off so unexpectedly slow.
Yep.
Like, I guess because of that beginning, they wound up that punch. Maybe that's what made that impact.
Maybe. But at it's either the end of the 9th episode or the beginning of the 10th, we're introduced to this lady who just kind of wanders into the Sword of Logos base.
It's the beginning of the 10th, so she just opens the door.
Yeah, she just opens the door, and May is there, and she screams because she's May, which is obnoxious. She's still awful. I'm glad she's losing screen time. But she has to because she has to. I could not do that for 50 episodes. You find out that this lady that we're introduced to is a member of the Southern base.
Yeah,
and you just what?
Yeah, I mean they dropped that one like it's no big deal.
Yeah, they were just like, oh yeah, the Southern base. That's what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah,
and it's like, no, totally.
You know how we've been struggling, with just the riders we have here. Imagine if we had fucking reinforcements.
Yeah, imagine if you got 5 other riders that came out of nowhere. Like Caliber wouldn't be an issue. Why is this? What?
It hurt, and now I'm just gonna suck it down because I'm trying to like Saber.
Yeah, and it kind
doing everything in its power to make me not.
It kind of felt like almost if not to keep equating it to build and all that kind of stuff, but it kind of felt like if that I feel like that'll go into where our second arc when they started fighting the other territory. It kind of feels like where that's going to go, where the Southern base is going to be the main focus for the next arc.
But okay.
Whether they fight them or not, you know what I mean? Like that seems to be either they're going to go to the Southern base or that's going to be the focus for the next arc once we're done with this Caliber thing. Because the next episode seems to be leading into the final little chunk of whatever we're doing with Caliber here.
Right. Well,
until he either disappears or joins the team and Six Rangers it, whatever.
I don't think he will. I don't think he's going to Six Ranger it. I think what's going to have to happen with him is he's going to go final baddie. But we're going to get like we'll see, because we'll get into theories in a second.
Yeah,
but
I think he's anyway. But yeah, so they just dropped this bombshell that there's a Southern base with other riders that are also fighting apparently. So that makes me think there might be another group like Caliber's group. Because I mean, they did say, I think they said 5 riders in the beginning.
It makes sense.
They basically split the Sword of Logos in half when everyone, when the Wonder Book was destroyed and all these other forms were created. So I mean, they certainly could just be fighting the other riders down there, and that's why they can't come help. But
it has to be something that's like
beefy,
either monumental or just ridiculously.
So I have a feeling, I don't know. I kind of got this vibe that she's going to be she might be the reason why Caliber betrayed everyone. The Southern base may be the reason why Caliber betrayed people. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Yeah, and we can get into that once we're done with the episode. But
she isn't. Yeah, she doesn't immediately give off good guy vibes. So,
no,
okay.
she's just kind of there. And I also honestly thought it was Kento's mom for a second.
Really?
Yeah. So I just because she just showed up, right? Was they're talking about like Caliber, being the dad and everything, and then they just like hard cut to this lady, and I was like, is that the mom? Who is this?
Right.
So she wants to talk to Kento, and she gives Kento his third and final piece, which is
I like this book. I like this book a lot.
I do too. Tricerberus.
Yes. Tricerberus.
It's sick. I don't know what it does, but it's sick.
It hasn't done much. So one of the
we should also mention at the end of the last episode.
One of the Quackers survived.
One of the Quackers survived, and also Caliber was able to steal a couple of the Wonder Ride books from.
Yes, that was the whole objective of the Quackers.
Yes. So he was able to steal. It wasn't their like main henshin ones, but he was able to steal a couple for their full like Wonder forms, their Wonder combos. So I believe he stole the Hedgehog, and then he also stole Pegasus. So
so that he could boost his little Juju book.
Yeah, his little Juao book. Mm-hmm.
Yes. But I wrote a note because I wrote the line "Holy Quackers."
Holy Quackers.
And that's because that's what that thing says when he opens the blank book that he was given to create one of those pockets.
Yeah.
So he opens the book and he says "Holy Quackers,"
Holy
and
Quackers.
I had to take a second. I paused it. I had to take a second, and then I had to keep going.
Yep.
But,
so anyway, the duck guy gets this blank book, and when he opens it, he actually when they introduce the other 4 versions of this duck. They all had like a piece of armor, almost like all dragon, that we talked about before. And
this one, each a different representation of it.
Yeah, like one has claws, one has wings, one has this big head crest, all this kind of stuff. And then this final Quacker gets all the armor, and it's kind of cool looking, honestly. Once it gets it,
it's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So he becomes an issue.
And I wrote he digivolved.
He literally digivolves.
He digivolved by combining
Digi-armor energize. You know what I'm saying?
I guess I wrote a little stupid joke. I guess he got all his ducks in a row, and I was so clever. But anyway, Slash makes his second
comes back
rider
in,
appearance,
being awesome.
Suzune is such a cool name, bro.
It is
such a cool name.
The Sword of Echoes. Slash is just a cool rider, man.
I'm opposed to the concept anymore. I'm on board.
I'm all for it. That's the first time in a while where it's like, do I want to drop too much money on a toy? Do I want to do that?
As dope as Buster was from his initial introduction to now, all that momentum is exactly the same energy that he had in just one episode.
Yep. It was crazy. It's awesome. And they're like awesome for totally different reasons, but it mainly comes down to that they have so much personality.
Yeah.
Whether they're in rider form or not. Like, they just have so much personality. And Slash more so that it's because he doesn't have any personality when he's not in his rider form. You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of thing. It's cool.
So all of them start fighting. They start to use their wonder combo attacks on Caliber.
Oh, they also figure out that, they have the theory that kind of like when Goku fights Yakon, that he can only absorb so much. And so
why don't we all just bop him?
Yeah,
and repeatedly
let's just bop him really hard, really fast. He can only absorb so much. So that's kind
I have a bop, you have a bop.
Yeah, you have bop, I have bop, we all have bop. So they kind of just round robin through a bunch of finishers, hoping that he'll just absorb too much.
Which was a dope sequence because just again, the visuals in this show are one of the saving graces, because again, I'm trying to equal out the fallacies here. Everything that's wrong with the show, it's more than okay if you just kind of forgive it, and then they come with these visuals. The visuals alone make this show so dope.
So far, there hasn't been anything that's been like offensive.
Truly
to
offensive?
The point. To the point where I'm like, no, the show sucks. Get out of here.
No. It's really just like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
Like, okay. And, again, I don't know how much of this is poor writing, because he's Ghost, right? Ghost Rider. Which he seems to be doing much better with this one in general. I don't know if he's doing a majority of the writing.
Don't jinx him.
I'm just saying, in general, I'm enjoying this so far. I mean, we're also 10 episodes in, and I think 10 episodes in Ghost, we were still in like the Spectre debacle and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
it
got old quick.
Yeah, that was the better part of that anyway. Necron and Spectre, and then once that's ended, it was just over.
Although Takeru, what does he have the record for the most deaths of an MC?
Yeah, he's on like 42, something like that.
Yeah, like something.
Yeah, he drops dead like every episode.
So we actually see Espada use the Tri-Cerberus book.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote the jingle. It says, "There once was a fearsome watchdog with 3 heads who guarded the entrance to the underworld.
Yeah.
Golden Alangila form."
Alangiana.
Oh, that's what it's
Alangina.
called.
Yeah, Golden Alangina.
Alangina.
Yeah. So that's the complete Wonder Ride combo. Ironically, I was playing Hades this morning. I don't know if you've seen anything about this game.
I've heard and seen, but never played.
So it's
seen anything about it. Like
roguelike. Yeah, it's a roguelike game, or roguelite, I should say. There's a very weird distinction between them. But essentially, it's one of those like procedurally generated. It's different every time you go in. Every time you die, you got to go like back through the tunnels, kind of thing, like Binding of Isaac or Rogue Knight. If you ever played Rogue Knight, that kind of thing.
I played. Yeah. Okay.
Where it's like the level's different every time you go in there, and you pick different doors and go different routes to go forward. You actually have Cerberus in there, and I wasn't expecting it. Like, this is before I watched the episode today. Cerberus, because you're the son of Hades. You play as the son of Hades. And Cerberus
so you're not Hades.
No, you're not Hades. You're trying to escape Hades in the underworld.
So it's kind of like
fighting through Tartarus to get to the Mount Olympus, because you find out... this is super early in the game, so I'm not worried about spoilers too much. This is the first 2 hours I only played it. You find out that your mother is Persephone, and she escaped through Tartarus. So you're trying to get through too, even though you thought Nyx was your mother the whole time. And you're definitely the son of Hades. Persephone, yeah. So you find out Persephone escaped through Tartarus, so you're trying to follow suit and get up to the Mount Olympus, and all the gods intervene, and that's how you get your buffs and new powers and stuff like that, because the gods are blessing you. It's pretty cool. It's really cool, and the art style is amazing, and there's very few things that I see in like mythology interpretations where I'm like, that's now how I picture the gods. This one has such cool art. Like, when you look at, like, in my brain now, that's just how I picture Hades. That's how I picture Poseidon. Like, it's just these characters now.
Let's finish this stuff from there.
we'll go down that hole. But yes, anyway, my point was Cerberus is in there, and it's super cool in that game too. And I was just already on a Cerberus thing, and then DMC5 just came out. There's Cerberus in there, so it's a very common thing that I'm a fan of lately.
Seems to be a recurring thing.
Yeah, it's almost like he's badass being the guard of hell.
I mean, it doesn't. And then the full form. His golden form, it looks so dope to me. Like, it's so more good. It's more angelic, more symmetrical than his counterparts. But dude, like, it's so dope to look at. The helmet itself turns into like this halo-y.
It completes the full circle, yeah.
It's so dope.
And it's got the hedgehog points coming out of it and stuff, and it's really cool. This is, I think, the one. It's hard for me between this one and the Lion Senki, which one I like better, but those two jive the best, definitely.
I dig it a lot.
Yeah.
And
I couldn't really tell like what the stuff was doing, because it kind of just felt like there was a bunch of electricity and CG like covering the screen once he turned into this. So I couldn't really tell what was happening, but it was cool. So, and
I think we're only gonna see these from these 3, because the other ones only have one slot, and it seems to be on their weapons. So while we might, what I was worried about was, how dry is this gonna run after we get to Kenzan alone? But then I realized that they're probably just gonna get like attacks, and like, because Kenzan gets like a sheet, right?
He gets a. So I have the picture here. Kenzan, when he uses 3 little pigs, gets a like thing on his arm. It's a little shield on his arm.
Yeah, like an attachment. Yeah. So like they might draw like weapons and attachments, but
and that shield does change depending on which version of the pigs that he's using: straw, wood, or brick, which is kind of a nice little touch. And then Slash has like a boombox and a bunch of like, it looks almost like sound waves like coming down his arm and stuff.
Yeah. So. Just speaking as a fan, you this cannot last 50 episodes. They need something.
No, yeah. So I think if anything, if like Kenzan and Slash and them get upgrades, I think they're just going to get normal belts, honestly. That way they can do, even if it's, because even Jakku has like a 1 slot belt, you know what I mean?
Or just like a whole new belt. Maybe they'll introduce
just like
belt.
2-slot belt, whatever. I mean, Daishinji clearly is like the dude for this stuff. Like he's gonna be making this stuff, so I'm sure he's gonna create.
Well, he
something.
does say with the power of the King Arthur ride book, he can create new ride books.
Yeah,
yeah.
So I'm sure that'll lead to something.
Exactly. He's well, headcanon. So Daishinji's gonna go link up with Naruto, create a whole boom. Right.
You think that's what it's gonna be?
No, but just amuse me.
I mean, we still haven't seen, other than having heat intelligence or whatever in the beginning of the episodes, we haven't seen how these tie together when they do take place in the same universe. So
it'll be in the movie. It'll definitely be in the movie.
movie.
Absolutely. Yeah. No other place for it to actually happen unless they actually integrate.
I was expecting like a phone to say like Hidan intelligence or something.
Oh, you mean like
literally
a small little thing at first? Yeah. Maybe after the movie.
Maybe.
Probably.
But yeah. So essentially they have this really cool team up with the 3 wonder combos, and they beat Caliber.
Yeah.
But Caliber is also able to finish his Juo Dragon Wonder Ride book.
Dragon.
Whatever, yeah. Which is this big scary form I have on the screen here if you're following along.
That book, he turns from scary to scarier.
Yeah. And
I mean, you get the vibes of
Grand Cross Dragon.
Rogue. Yeah. Rogue and Cross Dragon and all that, and it's just sexy. I like it.
It's super cool. I don't know if you can find like a screen grab real quick if you can grab one, but I have the scan, and then I have like a teaser image that was from City Wars, I think. But
gotcha.
He's super cool looking. I do like this form a lot. And clearly it's going to be a problem for at least a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely too early for it to be a final form.
Yeah.
But he definitely is probably going to be a big issue for the next arc.
Yeah. And also in episode 10, we find out why they were hiding the face of Caliber. So this is a big plot point. You find out that the reason they hid Caliber's face when they were in Avalon was because it's not actually Kento's father. You find out it's actually the former Kamen Rider Saber who had saved Toma 15 years ago, which is a huge plot point.
Kamijo Daichi.
Daichi, yeah. And yeah, that's a big thing.
I mean, like literally the whole time they've been thinking it's nobody else. Like it could only have been Kento's dad.
Yep.
So like, nah, actually it's the dude that you thought was dead. Actually, nah, not dead. Totally not dead.
And this is also why I think the southern base is going to play a more pivotal point. I just opened this up. Why did I do that? The southern base, I should say, is going to play a more pivotal role in the second arc, as quote unquote second arc. I think that's going to be a part of the reason why he has betrayed the Sword of Logos. So this is the Jiao Dragon.
Jiao Dragon.
Yeah.
So look at that freaking monster.
Monster and a half. While you have that up, can you try and grab a better screenshot of his form from the preview?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's this monster thing. And this is very similar to what Toma was given in Avalon. It's this big monstrous book that clearly is like several volumes, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be like a 1 volume for 3 kind of thing. Like you only fit 1 in the belt.
Yeah, I mean, it looks massive, bro, so it has to be broken up.
Yeah, so this is very clearly going to be the form that spurs Toma to get his first upgrade, and whatever his ends up being, Jiao Flame Dragon, whatever, Super Flame Dragon, Dragon Knight King, whatever, King Dragon Knight, I don't know, Ryuki, maybe he'll just turn into Ryuki, I don't know, that would actually be pretty funny.
Here, I found it's not a full body, but it's...
There's certain... Ooh, there it is. Yeah, that's intimidating. I like it. It's very Dark Raiden-y to me.
Yeah, I see that too.
Yeah.
But he's
where
definitely...
it's like we take the original one and give it more spikes and angry.
It's like if Super Shredder henshined.
Yes, it's literally Super Shredder, Kamen Rider Super Shredder. Yeah, it's crazy. So I'm excited to see what this thing can do, honestly.
So real quick, you want to go down a rabbit hole?
Yes, let's.
All right.
That's pretty much how the episodes end. We end with this,
Yeah, because that's what I was about to lead into. So the episode ends with, you know, Toma demanding to know what the childhood memory was, and finally remembering Kento.
Yep.
And that's where we leave the plot. Then we kick back to my favorite pain castle. Okay. Now his last line is, "I have somebody I have to meet." Do you remember that?
No, who says that?
All right. Tassel.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. And then the screen gets dark.
Yeah. So let me see if I can that screenshot.
Yes.
But
so our legendary Gundam Fight All Set Ready Go announcer, who's just been farting around doing whatever, and is clearly like a DJ Cigar, a kind of omnipotent narrator, says he has someone to meet, and I have a feeling that's going to also lead to Toma's super form.
Yeah, I mean, either we have the makings of, because this whole time Tassel is in the Wonder World, right?
Yep.
At least that would just make the most sense.
Yeah.
So, given who he is and everything we've seen him do, he has to be some kind of uber powerful entity, something like that.
Yeah.
Like a DJ Sagara, like we've been kind of theorizing.
Yeah.
So when he gets involved, like he says he's going to, I'm trying to wait for the moment so I could send the screen.
Yeah.
But you get this whole different feel from just that line that he says. So whatever's gonna happen is gonna either involve him being like that intrusive thing where he's just like casual about it, or he's gonna become the big baddie.
Theory. No, this is the long shot. I don't think it's going to happen, but this is, for discussion's sake.
Okay.
What if he's Kento's father and something happened in the Wonder World to turn him into Tassel?
You think Kento's dad though? Like,
I mean, he's got the long hair. They got a similar look to him, similar build and everything. He could have just got weird because he got thrown into the Wonder World.
Okay, explore that. What then?
So I don't know. They have similar long hair and look to them, and it would just be interesting to see if that's what happens when a human is thrust into the power of the Superbook.
What if? Okay, so Tassel. All right, what if Tassel is the book? You know what I mean? How these MacGuffins tend to become a character.
Yeah. Interesting.
Maybe Tassel. Yeah, maybe Tassel is the Wonder Book. Just a theory.
Interesting. Okay. That'd be cool. Like a personification of the Wonder Book.
That's what I'm thinking.
Interesting.
At least. I'm going to rock with that for a while. I'll go with that.
Yeah, I definitely don't think he's Kento's father. I just think that'd be a goofy little thing.
I mean, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
That would be even better than him being the Wonder God Book.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I definitely see something happening with the next 10 episodes. I think we're gonna obviously we're gonna see the first true power up for Brave. We'll see either one of the Megitos or Caliber himself be taken out of the equation until the final act.
Yes, I think this is we're gonna kind of see like what happened with Bloodstalk and again Build. I think it just seems to follow similar story beats. That's why I keep comparing it so much to it.
Maybe because the writer was like, "Oh, so that's how it's done." Okay,
that's a story. Okay, we'll just follow that progression. So it feels like
that.
it just feels like it just feels like that's the next progression because we're kind of like I said, we're getting it seems to be like the end of the like opening Caliber arc because he's getting this final form, this big bad super shredder looking thing. So he's either going to be defeated or they're going to seal him away for a little bit, or he's going to be whatever. They're gonna the dark sword is going to go flying into the nether until later kind of thing, and then we're going to have to deal with the secondary base, the south base, and whether that's again, I think that just because it seems to be a little tropey. I think we're going to go into like, hey, they're good, but they don't see eye to eye, so we're going to have to deal with them a little bit. Kind of like what they did with, before What's-His-Face joined the team in Build and everything. They're going to kind of have to deal with it.
You have a very G Gundam idea going on here.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's...
I dig it, though.
I dig it. That's my life, so... Anyway. But you know what I mean? Like, it just seems like similar kind of progression in story and beats and where they're going. So I think that's kind of how we're going to do it.
Yeah, we're going to have to take a whole left turn because we're grinding through this plot very quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah, the left turn is coming, and it's got to be something as drastic as that, if not more, because these characters have already come so far, and their powers are scaling at such a crazy rate.
Yeah, like we said, a lot has happened in a very short amount of time, and that could be COVID. That could be just, hey, let's just cut out the fluff and go nuts.
Do you think maybe it'll be a short season? I don't see why, but I mean, why?
I don't think it'll be any shorter than 01. Honestly, I think we're looking at like 35, 46.
I actually haven't looked into the ratings or anything like that. I don't know how it's doing.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think that really matters as much anymore when it comes to like time length kind of thing. Like, I think they just need to have it last until August or September, whether it does well or not. Like, it's Kamen Rider. I don't think they're just gonna like cancel Kamen Rider. You know what I mean?
If Ghost made it
exactly, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, there's been much worse series that have lasted all 50 something episodes. So
it's just bananas to me that they're managing to do this level of a show. Given maybe that's why the heavy visuals are the way they are, because
I 100%. I mean, obviously, being the story that it is, it attributes to that. But I think COVID had a lot to do with how much CG is in the show, because they probably just can't have that many people gather in certain places for a certain amount of time, that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
But I don't think that. I want to say, depending on how well this show does, that style is gonna have to stick, because that intensity.
Because COVID's not going anywhere.
No. Well, buckle up. But what I really mean is because from when we saw the fight sequences in 01,
yeah,
and as exceptional as those were,
yeah,
these have taken that level and then went and again, it is that way due to the kind of story it is. But given that you now have seen that they're capable of filming dynamic fight sequences, it's possible to do it with practicals too, with better camera tricks. So that's what I think this is going to do. Like, they're going to focus more on their filming style rather than changing too much of their substance.
Yeah, and that's.
I mean, when you think
fine.
about it, how much more? Yeah, like in the suit and design department. Showa to Heisei to now, Reiwa. Between, let's say, Zio and now, let's say that the base for 01, you can tell they're slendering the designs more, a sleeker style of better movement. So I'm just saying, like, I think that's going to be the pattern that's going to follow for Reiwa, is the designs are going to be, I mean, other than the Super Shredder suit, but
I was going to say I don't know if practical would be the word I'd use, but I see what you're saying. Like, they're more segmented for better movement and things like that.
Right, segmented. Like, they're still going to look incredibly bulky, but it looks like
obviously all of the Wonder Forms just have all kinds of crap all over them.
Not like, it's almost as much as like Magma. I kind of see like the same encumbrance as that. Yeah. How much? I don't think that they weigh that much, suits actually. That the suits.
I have a feeling most of those are probably like super hollow on the inside, and if they poke them the wrong way with those foam weapons, they're just gonna like paper mache. Honestly, like, they have to. I mean, I know the Garo armor weighs like 120 pounds or something ridiculous like that, but
but
they got a lot of these are kind of flopping around too, so I'm sure it's just like foam rubber for the most part with like a coating on it.
Would you consider the difference between Garo and Kamen Rider like a full, like when you think of a medieval armor, like the full knight in armor versus like the chainmail dude? Like, that's what I picture. Like, the Garo armor is the full knight with the plate armor and the section with the closed helmet.
Yeah.
Kamen Rider's like the dude in the chainmail.
Not even the chainmail. It's kind of like Kamen Rider is the dude with like the leather, like asymmetrical patches from like an anime, and it really doesn't actually make sense as like armor. So Garo just like takes the swords like they're nothing at the kick, so that he just like slashes one in half, and then it's game over. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not biased at all. It's fine.
Whatever, man.
It just depends on the Kamen Rider. No one can survive Kuga's 14-block nuclear kick.
You know, and a point. Have you played the game yet? The new game, the
Memory Heroes? No, I haven't.
Yeah. No. Okay. Because I want to know what that's like, because I haven't seen anything about it.
I've heard from the Facebook groups and stuff and people that post stuff up, they've enjoyed it, but I think Kamen Rider fans are just kind of all for any kind of game, because Climax Scramble is really well received too, and that game's terrible in my opinion. So
Climax Scramble, was that the fighting one?
Yeah, that was the fighting one that came out with when Zio was out. So
oh god,
yeah. It's, I don't know. Like, Memory of Heroes looks like a really cool game, but it also at the same time looks like a Musou game with a story. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, but you like those anyway.
I like those anyway. I do. It seems like a weird hybrid, so I'd want them to like either steer into it or not, kind of thing. And this kind of seems like a weird in between. So we'll see. I don't know. I haven't actually played it, but I do plan on picking it up and probably playing it on the channel here. So
let's see if I can put this in the Discord. Somebody had I found a creditless roll credit for the openings. I'm sorry. Yeah, creditless openings for a bunch of the shows, for every show up until GO from Kuga.
Oh, interesting. Like clean openings kind of thing?
Clean. Yeah, clean openings.
Cool.
Yeah, let me pop in, see if it works. But who would we go for here? Yep, I choose you. Nope, my files are too powerful.
Too powerful.
Anyway, I have them if you want them later.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
what do you think we're going to see next in terms of Kamen Rider Saber? Like, where do you think it's going to go?
Well, I want to keep my theory that eventually we're going to see the reason why that Caliber betrays them is because something so crazy happened in the 15 years ago that only by rewriting history can it be undone. Or at least that's what he believes.
Yep.
And it's got to probably have to do with Kento's dad.
Mm-hmm. Because
why else would he be Caliber himself?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
That makes sense.
How we're going to get from A to A Zeta, I don't know.
I mean, obviously... Kento's dad was Caliber at one point, and probably during the 15-year ago thing. But I'm going to assume he dies because of whatever happened, and then Daiichi Daito took up the took up the mantle because he understood the cause that he became Caliber for. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So what he once opposed, he's like, oh well, okay, I get it now.
Yeah, that makes a little more sense. So,
world's gonna end. God.
Do you think we're gonna see? I don't know what her name is. The Queen Bee, Lady of Sword of Logos. Do you think we're gonna see her get a Kamen Rider form?
Not a form, but I think we're gonna see her die. I don't think she's very Zordon-y without the Zordon power. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like she really hasn't done anything.
Gotcha.
She at the end of this episode, she tries to confront Caliber, and if it wasn't for Buster, she would have gotten either cleaved in half, or then we would have seen her do something. But I don't get those vibes. So either she's gonna serve some kind of purpose where she dies, and then May takes over as whatever she's supposed to be.
Okay, like pass on the Zordon power kind of thing.
Yeah, because she was so welcoming to everybody who just fucking shows up. So it's like...
Yeah, it's like, wait, why are you in my house? Oh, okay.
It's my super secret logo space. Nobody's supposed to know. Oh, hey, cookies? Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I'll take the whole box. Come on, have a seat.
I like how she wasn't mad at all that they used the forbidden book that no one was supposed to read. I was like, are we just ignoring that? Are we... Okay.
Like, I wanted her to have the reverence of a firekeeper, but...
Yeah.
Just see her as that librarian lady who's just like weirded out that she has a job. That's like,
why am I here?
This is my job. This is what I do. Okay.
Yeah. It's just I don't know what to expect from her because, like you said, she hasn't really done anything other than be like, "Oh, go swordsman, go!"
Yeah, like you're people, and I'm just here all the time.
It's like it's just crisp high fives whenever they walk through the door. That's all she's there for. She's like, "Hey guys, good job, team."
So I really don't know where they're gonna go with it, but I do know that it's either gonna be some kind of world-ending catastrophe,
Yeah.
or trying to bring his dad back from from death or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's either gonna be that big or that fucking small.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I am interested to see where it goes. Like you said, I'm more into the show than I thought I was going to be.
It's been a great surprise. Like,
yeah, it's been entertaining if nothing else. So like you can't complain about that.
Having the positive attitude and the more accepting attitude of whatever writing is in there helps a lot, and so does booze. But
and so does it not being Zio. Honestly, we can just get as far away from Zio as possible. If we could like go back and delete Zio, that'd be great.
Further, yeah, we're gonna look at Zio like that, like the way we used to look at Forza.
Honestly, like because of how bad that show is, I want to watch Forza again. I was like, it can't be that bad.
I saw X8 and I changed my mind. So
yeah, I don't want to sit through like screaming for 52 episodes. I really don't. Or like, I really hate the fire form. I really do. It's so bad.
Which one is that? Which form?
Forza's fire form. He's got the fire and the electric like stun baton form. The fire gun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really don't like those. I don't like his forms. I really don't.
Why don't we Metal Heroes?
Metal Heroes? I would love for some Metal Heroes.
Let's pick a Metal Heroes. We'll watch.
I mean, we did VR Trooper. That was like diet Metal Heroes.
It was like super diet, like watered down after like it's been out for like 2 days.
Let's just try and do there's the Gavon movie, the Neo Next Generation Gavon. We could do that. Start with that.
Yeah, we'll do that. I want to do that.
Cool. Sounds good to me.
Neo Gavon.
Yeah, it's like the next Gavon Next Generation or something like that. Now,
I recognize the Gavon, or excuse me, the Space Sheriff franchise, but lore.
It is on YouTube as well, by the way.
I'm still a novice, so would you recommend me just watch the movie or watch the show?
I honestly have no idea because I've never seen the show.
Okay, so
I really love just everything about the Metal Heroes and the way they hench and things like that, so I honestly have no idea.
I think it would be better if we do a cold take on the first 10 episodes of Space Sheriff Gavin.
The original, like 1970, whatever?
Yeah.
Okay. Can do that. I do know one of the big things is the original guy and the new guy that they picked for Gavon, they're notorious for doing their own stunts. So even when the dude's like 60 and when he shows up in the Gavon movie, he's doing his own stunts the whole time. So
that's amazing.
It's sick. So I'm really excited. We'll do that. We'll try that. We'll try some Space Sheriff Gavon. Electroputz!
Where can I find that? Oh, I found it already. Awesome.
Yeah. So we'll try and do that. We'll do the 10 episodes of that guy and then maybe do the movie because I really do love the movie. I want to watch that again. I want an excuse. So
I dig it, man.
All right. Yeah, I think that's a good place to stop for today.
Yeah, that was a good run.
Yeah, good. Go team.
Dude, we got through 5 episodes.
5 episodes, and then if you're listening to this, you're about to hear a review of Karas because that happened before. So you got buckle up, Buttercup. You got another hour or so.
So buckle in. Karas was awesome, and we will explain why.
Yeah, and because there was no outro on that because it was unexpected. I'm Carl.
Oh, yeah.
You can follow me at Kaiju Karu on just about everything. 2 R's, 2 U's. Yeah.
I am Robert. I'm at Sick Mirror Tricks and everything else.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. I don't know. I may stick around and stream some Hades because I really love that game. So,
yourself.
If you're welcome to stick around too if you would like. But I'm going to take a little break either way.
Enjoy yourself.
Yeah. Deuces, guys.
Later, guys. Sure, we do. Actually, I have more questions than I ever have about Kara, so I hope you're ready to do some explaining. Hey, welcome to Tokudon, guys. Right, we're gonna try because I have a multitude of questions anymore. Because I thought I understood the story, and I do not. I do not. It has been out since, what, 2007? 05? Yeah, something like that. 2007. Yes. Very, very tokusatsu. He's like he's like if Ultraman was kicked into emo gear. Like I I totally dig the I mean the one thing that we can both agree on about this is that it is beautifully done. It looks amazing. The sound is amazing. I mean the opening sequence is essentially the show without whatever story they're trying to tell. Cause I'm still like, huh?
I also just
Now,
realized that whole spiel. I was muted, so the people at home couldn't hear me until
oh,
just
so
now.
they just hey
So we're
guys.
coming in cold. All right,
So
Tokudon,
hey,
Karas.
Tokudon, Karas, here we go. Essentially, we've been trying to get a grip on where we wanted to go with this review because it's right up the gate. We're only doing essentially the first half, so to say.
Yeah. So this is I believe it was 6 episodes altogether, and they divided it into 2 movies. Yeah. So this is an anime that is, again, because I was muted. It's very much inspired by tokusatsu, and is kind of it's made by Tatsunoko, which is the same guys behind a whole bunch of super famous things. Like it. I'm trying to get a list here real quick. They got all kinds of stuff. You play Tatsunoko versus Capcom, it's everyone in there.
Gotcha, man, all that stuff.
Ipatsuman. They got Gotcha Man. Gotcha Man is probably their biggest one and the one people recognize the most. Battle for the Planets, if you're in the West here.
They have Tekkamon, right? Tekkamon too.
Yeah, Tekkaman and Tekkaman Blade.
Yeah.
There's the 2 of those. Tekkaman Blade's ridiculous. I love it.
I've actually never seen it, but I know the character. I've just never seen it.
Yeah, it's intense.
Like
so
Karas intense or another level there.
It's like imagine Karas with the like plot events of Gundam, like classic UC Gundam.
So it's a military thing.
Cool. It gets dark. Yeah, it's
cool.
space battles. He's basically a mech. He turns into a mech essentially. So
Karas. Yeah, so those guys gave us this movie. And like we were saying, it starts off intense and it doesn't really let up too much. If you kind of like myself, I had an idea of the plot from when I watched it back in 2007. Now this is, even then I think I watched the dub, so I didn't even really I'm sure I don't have the actual story at all whatsoever.
No, so that was the issue too. So when I first watched this, I had always watched the dub. I actually genuinely enjoyed the dub. It's a very good dub. And so
quite good cast actually.
Yeah, it's Jay Hernandez. Matthew Lillard actually plays Nue, and Piper Parabo. I'm not familiar with that name.
Parabo,
yeah. But yeah, Matthew Lillard plays Nue, who is one of our main characters.
Nue, all right, I liked Nue. I just don't. Again, I haven't seen the Revelation to refresh my memory enough.
He gets a little better, kind of.
He does, because you get the vibe. I mean, it's a hard implication. Like they heavily imply that he's like the main character until they actually introduce the main character.
Yeah.
So it's a little confusing at first, but his character's pretty enjoyable. He's a good contrast to the actual main character, who's like a silent, stoic type.
Yeah, he's So Karas is what we were talking about before. So, if you watch the dub, it's very disjointed, I guess is the word I would use.
Very.
It's hard to kind of tell what's going on, and I think that's a little bit of a lost in translation kind of thing. Yeah. It's if you watch the dub, it's a little clearer. I'm not saying it's the most clear thing in the world, but there's differences that filled in some of the gaps that I was confused about when it comes to that kind of thing. So this movie actually starts off super crazy, and we are literally thrown right into the thick of it. Because this movie starts off with literally a jet battle.
a human jet.
Yeah, there's a lot of really crazy CG, quick cuts, things flying around. bunch of bullet time slow motion, and there's these things like they're literally jets flying around. I don't know if you want to try and find a picture while I'm talking.
Yeah, I'm looking at finding the clip. Yeah.
And they're just flying around in the moon, and then all of a sudden they turn into a dude, and he's flipping in front of the moon, and then he turns back into a jet. And when I saw this for the first time, I was like, "Oh my god, this is awesome!"
Yeah, I mean, legit. There's no way that opening does not leave a amazing impression. Like you're stoked from the opening. Yeah. The only thing
right out the gate, like right into full throttle. It's so cool.
And it's also it's also dope that you get to like the hero or the implied good guy in that sequence is getting his ass handed to him, and he actually ends up losing.
Yeah.
So you're like
imagine if you jumped into Dragon Ball like as Goku and Vegeta are fighting in the mountainside. That's kind of what this is. Like mid just going at it kind of thing. It's crazy, and then like you have no idea what's going on. There's jets, there's slow motion, there's a bridge that they fly over at some point.
I uploaded the opening. So I put it on the Discord. So that's the opening, and it's literally just nonstop. It's they start off as like it's like jets that are firing projectiles at each other, and they're just zipping back and forth through the sky, and then in the mid-air they turn into the human forms, and then they start clashing. It's so dope. Like if you watch anything of Karas, watch the opening, and then you can walk away if that's where you want to leave it. I understand, but all the rest of the fight scenes are equally as intense. So it's like this is just a taste of what you're gonna get.
Yeah. And if you do want to watch those clips, we're going to graciously compile them for you as we're talking about it in our Discord. So join our Discord with the link below if you're watching in the future times.
And mind you,
MP3,
because this is quite difficult to find. The prophecy, very, very difficult to find the whole thing. I had to do a lot of hopping around to find the complete episodes, and the only thing I was able to find completely was the revelation.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that's kind of what contributed to my choppy understanding of the story. So clarify two things for me.
Yeah.
In the opening, we have two Karases fighting each other, right?
Yep.
So it's not what is it? The Megiddo, the Mekaka.
They're essentially mecha yokai. I don't remember the exact name for them.
Yeah,
they're essentially
whatever
mecha
the fusion.
yokai.
So he's not one of them. He is a Karas.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah.
So yeah, they're yokai. So all of this is very much based in like Shinto, Japanese demon folklore kind of stuff. There's yokai, there's demons, there's all that kind of stuff. And we are introduced to Echo and who is the evil Karas. If you're looking at the Discord, it's the guy with the big flowy Virgil style cape thing going on.
The purple eyeliner.
Yeah, he's got like a purple sci-fi eye. And then Karas, which is our titular character. Karas is a title, by the way. If you get confused, don't worry. Karas is a title. So there's multiple Karases. Karas means crow in Japanese, if anyone doesn't know.
Karasai.
Yeah, Karesi. Karases. So it's it's this battle going between a Karas and Echo, who is our main villain. Who is, you find out later, I'm pretty sure you find out in this one that he used to be a Karas, like the Karas for the town. The city.
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of character names that we're gonna throw at you guys.
Yeah.
So the main characters.
So if you're confused on characters, we'll go through it. But
So Echo is fighting. I think he pretty much remains nameless. That first dude.
Yeah. He's fighting the current Karas. You have a battle between the previous Karas and the current one.
Right. So since it's a title, it's actually given to, I'm assuming anybody, because when we introduce to the main guy, he's dying.
Yeah.
And then when he actually dies, he gets brought to the next dimension, the in between.
Yeah. So there's some things they don't really explain in this one, kind of like that. So for the ease of our listeners and things, I may give some things that are actually in the revelation. Because
that's fine. I mean, I think it's fair because they don't explain much
They don't explain much at all. So
Yeah.
you find out eventually that Uranes are essentially the will of the city. They're a collection of energy through the city, through Mother Earth kind of thing, Gaia Earth. And it's a collection of a city that is made to create a Kairos to protect it. So essentially it's, here's I'm going to be the one who gives you your power. I'm the angel to your god of destruction sort of thing is the easiest way to
She's the Zordon, right?
Yes,
like
she's the Zordon, but there isn't a team of Kairoses. There is, but it's not an actual team. Each city has their own Kairos. You find out later.
Right.
So the current Urane is the name of this god city creature. Urane chooses a Kairos. They become the protector. In this case, the current Kairos is killed in this first battle. The nameless Kairos is killed. And we hard cut after Echo goes, ha 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 ha, I'm evil, look at me.
Pretty much like now my plan is in full motion, maybe?
So, Echo says, the city will be mine, we'll bring it back to before humans desecrated this whole world sort of thing.
Because he's bitter about...
He's pretty bitter about just the way the world has turned out.
That's
essentially his, he's going to bring it back to the time of when people feared and respected demons and that kind of stuff. So that's his whole endgame.
Demons are like, I don't even think demons are like the biggest problem in this. They're like an issue, but it seems to me like for me it feels like he's after power simply for the sake of it. Like I don't buy into the whole people will fear demon thing. You know what I mean? Like it just felt...
it's definitely one of those. Again, he's very much Virgil. He's power, more power kind of thing. Yeah. So you find out that he has. It's actually at the end of this fight. If you're watching the clip, it's still going right here. It's about to end. On my end anyway.
That's still going. 7-minute fight scene. Come on.
7-minute fight scene, which ends with the main character dying.
It's like awesome. That's
sick.
Awesome.
All right, great start. Essentially, you find out that he has this like band of 7. He has the Espada. He has the the Gotai 13 with him.
Yeah.
And they are demons that he has combined with modern, quote unquote modern, because it's kind of like spiritual technology, whatever as well, like sci-fi MacGuffin technology.
I forget what they were called. Hold on, I can find that. Go ahead.
I'm just going to call him Mecha Yokai for now until you find it.
It works. Yeah. I'll find the name.
So he has this team of Mecha Yokai, and they kind of just show up behind him and yada yada yada. So Kairos is killed. Urane is kind of like, oh no, their bond is struck kind of. They have to. They call it a contract. They have to enter a contract so that the next person becomes Kairos. And then after that, we hard cut to a dude bleeding out on a hospital bed.
Which emphasizes the whole disjointed storytelling, because there's a lot of just like, suddenly we're stopping whatever the hell we were just going on, and it's something else. And then by the time we come back to it, there is no relay. Like there's a moment where Nue got hurt, right? He's like complaining about his leg.
Yep.
And then the next scene, he's riding a motorcycle.
Yep.
And then he's fighting. And then it's like, okay, all right, sure.
So yeah, right after this fight, it skips a year. I think there's a little bit of a time skip.
Not a whole big one, but yeah. I mean, is this technically a Christmas movie? Because
yes, it is a Christmas movie. This is might be my favorite Christmas movie, honestly. Better than Die Hard, better than Gremlins. It might be my favorite Christmas movie. So we jump some amount of time. I think they say it, but I honestly don't remember. I think it's about a year or so. It might be a little less. And we cut to Nue, who is Matthew Lillard in the English dub.
Yes, the red-haired dude.
Shaggy in Scooby-Doo, if you don't recognize that name. And he does other things, but he's Shaggy in Scooby-Doo. He's also in the Scream movies, that kind of stuff.
He's very, very all over the place with his career. So
I mean, that's a compliment to him, I think. So
yeah, definitely.
And he's riding this train. He's kind of just this cool guy with, I'm trying to find a picture here, unless you put one up already.
I got it.
You got it.
Yep,
okay.
I'm getting one right now.
He's this cool guy, and there's very clearly something up with him because he's literally sleeping on top of a train that's moving like a bullet train.
He's got this whole super Renji grunge look with the bandana covering what's I'm assuming is like a 5 head. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it's a very distinguished
like long hair thing going on.
Yeah.
So
he looks different from every other character, in my opinion. Like, he just stands out a lot.
Yeah.
Compared to the other ones.
And there's a reason why.
Yeah, well, yeah, true.
So, like, he gets to the station, the train zips by, it's an express train kind of thing, and then he is just standing on the platform. You find out later that there was footprints coming off, and they're very, like, animalized, demon-y footprints that go into human footprints, so you're like, oh, this dude's a demon, cool.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so it's... Very quickly, we're introduced to one of our other main characters, which is one of the detectives. I wouldn't... he's not really a main character, but he's
a character,
more a major minor kind of thing. Major minor,
yeah.
Who is one of our
major.
He's the thread, the grounding thread for figuring out what the hell's going on, because he's just a normal cop, kind of getting thrown into this weird yokai division of the police department to investigate weird mythical things that happen like this.
Right. I wouldn't say the other guy was normal though. Like
no, not at all.
Forget that other guy's. Yeah, he's
nuts. Sagisaka, I think his name is.
Sagisaka, thank you.
Yeah, I forget what the new blood guy's name is, but Sagisaka is the old man.
Yeah.
And so very quickly in this train station, we are introduced to another demon. You have literally ghost adventure girls. They're just the ghost adventures. They roll into a bathroom looking for a kappa.
No, they're water goblins in America.
Sorry, water goblin. It's a kappa. Do you want to explain what a kappa is for people who may not know? So
kappa are water demons in Japanese culture that they look close enough to turtles that you can associate them with that, but they're very lanky looking things, and they have a divoted head where it fills up with water. It's like a bowl. If they have water in the bowl, they're like almost invincible. So the trick is to get them to spill the water out, and then you can beat them. But in America, they're called water goblins. Yeah, and they look like the same thing.
So that's a kappa. I just put it in the Discord if anyone's following along or checking it out.
It's a tall, lanky
it's
ninja
a
turtle.
Frog turtle with a bowl cut. Quite literally a bowl cut.
Yeah, it's what the Ninja Turtles would look like if we didn't care enough.
If their budget was a little lower in the 90s, you know what I mean?
Like a lot lower.
So yeah, they're looking for kappas, because they're doing their ghost adventure, investigate supernatural sightings kind of thing. And that's when things get real very quickly. These demons are messing around. And
it's gory. And they don't hold back.
This movie's pretty gory. This movie's got a decent amount of blood.
They really do not hold back, because these girls get demolished.
They straight up, so they get sucked into these like whirlpool things, and they see this image of a bunch of kappa like swimming up, and at the same time, all the blood is getting sucked out of their body because they're inside of these whirlpool things. Like the entire crew and the girl, one of the girls, we have a survivor who was introduced in the very beginning during the fight as, our Christmas element. She's just minding her own business. I don't know what the point of this girl is, honestly, other than to be
I don't think she has one until the Revelation. I think it's all just like, whatever.
In the Revelation, she honestly really doesn't have another point other than to just be there.
then she has
no point other than being, hey, I'm the random damsel in distress kind of thing.
It's just the way that the detective gets to like A to B. Like literally it's that link, whatever. It's a lot of whatever, like
you just got to go with it, especially in this first movie. You just got to go with it. So
it's not going to make sense. It's not, because everything is banked on the Revelation, which ironically now the title makes so much more freaking sense.
Yep.
But anyway,
so it's she ends up being the only survivor, but again, she's not integral to the plot. She's just kind of around. I don't even honestly remember her name. I
don't know about much of these characters' names, because I just Karas, Echo, and Yurine. Those are the main ones. And Nue, just because he's there most of the time.
He's there most of the time. He has a little bit. He doesn't have a lot of development, but he does a lot of stuff in the movies. More so the first one, for reasons we'll get.
And he's called a Mikura. Mikura.
That's there you go. That's the name.
Robot demon things are called.
Yeah, those are the mecha yokai. Mikura.
Yeah.
So you find out eventually Nue is one of these things as well, and so is the water goblin we're after. Which, as this attack happens again, we have I don't know if you want to call it foreshadowing or the introduction from a TV commercial of this big beefy wrestler who's taken on basically WrestleMania. Any challenger steps into the ring, kind of thing, under 3 minutes. Bonesaw's ready.
Bro, listen. As a former, crazy wrestling fan, that struck so many chords. I was like, oh, this is cool. Oh, this is dope. And then all of a sudden, he turns into a freaking demon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, cool. So All right. So from before my introduction to Karas, I think one of my first introductions to it was that countdown.
Yes.
So
I have
remember
the clip
watching this
already
video.
in here.
Okay, yeah, good.
I'm gonna play it with the sound for this one. I typically don't do the sound because reasons.
We're gonna do the sound this time.
But we're gonna do the sound for this one.
So we'll just let it play out. But let's just say that this was the first thing that I knew of Karas, and it hooked me.
So a little, set up to what's happening here. Nue is here. He's hunting the water goblin, and it's very clearly, the person in the ring at this point. And This is the WrestleMania match that we just saw on the TV.
5, 6, 7.
Oh my god.
8, 9, and it is 10.
Sway to and fro, sway.
That's so dope, man.
Do it now, Karas.
I don't know if that made it weird. Oh well.
Look,
It's so good.
oh god.
So this is the first henshin that Karas does. As you can see, it is very Kamen Rider. It kind of tokusatsu henshin.
And it is a henshin because when he dies and he goes to see her in that other plane, she gives him like a combat pass or some shit like that.
So it's if you see on his, you've probably seen the clip, there's an eyeball on his sword.
Yeah.
That's what she gives him. It's a little medallion that has that eyeball on it.
Was it this is what kind of has like this thing going in my head where I'm thinking it's kind of like it really is a title, like, because when he's handed that thing, all of a sudden he's like knowledgeable, he knows what's going on, like, you know what I mean, like,
yeah.
It seemed like whatever that thing is, it's like its own intelligence.
Yeah, so it's very much a
Oh yeah.
it's okay, I'm gonna pause before the fight because this fight's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's the henshin. That's the first time we see Karas and our new protagonist, Otoha. We'll get to how he becomes Karas in a second, because I think they don't explain it in this movie, do they? They don't explain it in this movie.
Not really. I mean, like I said, he just gets handed.
I mean, I know there's the end where they find his body and everything, but I didn't think they really explained it. So Otoha is our protagonist here. He is our new Karas. He is our guardian of the city. So he hunts down this water goblin. And essentially what happens is, like I said, the Uranes create a contract and they give him this medallion that lets them henshin. And the medallion is an actual representation of their contract. So, which we see at the end as well, that contract is broken for things we'll get into. So once we go into the fight here, we find out a lot of fighting game moves real quickly, because he Shoryukens this dude into the stratosphere, which also goes into the sewer. So,
I mean, it really is. I mean, you really can't stop with this. The intensity of every fight. Every fight is just like so constant, so nonstop, and it's so dope.
And this is the reason I say fighting game characters. They actually did a game called Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, where Karas is actually a playable character, and he was my main. So that's cool, because Karas is awesome.
Did you main him?
Yeah, I mained him. Yeah.
I don't remember how I mained in that one.
It was Soki and Karas.
Soki, yo.
Yeah.
All right. We'll
Soki and
do
Karas.
it one day.
One day. I mean, I got a PC set up now. I can make it happen. I'll figure it out a way. So this is during this fight, you get a little taste of Karas' abilities and things like that. And essentially, all these poses are what end up making his move list in the game. So
let me see if I can find a playlist of his moveset.
Yeah, I'm sure you could.
I'm
essentially, all this cool, super dope anime stuff happens. Cuts off an arm, and then he defeats the water goblin. But this fight is what sold me on this movie. I thought this fight was amazing, especially his finisher here. He's about to final vent the water goblin. And when he does, he creates this weird parallel dimension thing where he just strings them up.
It is so dope. Like the level of toku that he displays.
Yes,
and it's
very
not
much.
like,
it always reminded me of Saga. Is that his name before he becomes
Saga?
Yeah, when he strings them up and then
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. It always kind of reminded me of that, because he just strings them up in all these little wire things and then cuts them to oblivion. And there's, they carry the chromo teeth in his armor, and then it was henshin and all that. He literally turns into a crow and then comes flying down. So it's pretty dope.
I found a I guess a combo
video, that kind of thing.
combo clip. Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, what is he? What? I don't remember what kind of fighter he was. What was his style?
He was a rushdown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He very much would set things up and just try to be in your face as much as possible. He had his grappling hook as like a way to get across the screen, sort of deal.
So he was like a Strider.
Yeah, pretty much. He's essentially Strider.
That's nice.
He's got a lot of like the big from across the like he just did his kick across the screen, take him to the corner. That kind of.
Does he have a parry?
No, he doesn't. Yes, he does. I'm sorry, he does because he does the circular saw with his blade, and you can only do it while it's out. For his one super. His one super is he just dashes it around. So he does this move where he'll spin his sword is like a pizza cutter, and then he'll zip it all over the place. He'll probably do it in one of his combos.
Yeah, I remember blocking that a good amount.
And then, his finisher is straight up just the scene we just watched where he ties him up and then does the big slash of doom.
That is so cool.
Yeah, Karas is cool. The only thing with this game is the main reason I want to replay it is because I never played it on like a fight stick or anything. I was always using the Wii remote.
The controller.
Yeah, and
that's right.
It's easy combos with that. That's the thing. So
it has never been ported to anything else?
No. So this game was a nightmare to even get to the West the first time. Seth Killian actually was the one who like championed that to get it over here in the first place. Seth Killian is a big old head of FGC. He worked for Capcom for a while. Now he's kind of doing his own thing. And yeah, he struggled real hard to get that over here, and it took a lot. So to get it localized, I doubt it'll be on anything anytime soon. And on top of that, you're talking with any kind of crossover game, you got licensing issues, things like that. So
sure.
Yeah, Karas is a dope character in this, and he was my main, and then Soki from Onimusha 4 was my other one. So
Soki's one of our sentimental favorites.
Yes, Onimusha is good stuff. So yeah, that's Karas.
Yeah,
and then it's a hell of an introduction, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, considering that the rest of the episodes, I mean, they go pretty quick. It's a lot of disjointed stuff. Like it's not smooth storytelling. So a lot of things just kind of happen, and then you kind of just
it's a lot of them trying to figure out what's happening, but not explaining anything.
Yeah, it's good that we have the detective story in there because I think as the audience needed that. But even their story is still kind of like disjointed, so it's like you don't even know why Sakisaka is the way he is right away. You know what I mean? Like you just
beat
anyway.
And so
What happened?
I hit Twitch by accident and started playing. Sorry, there's phantom voices. I was trying to find a Sagisaka picture.
Yeah, I think I had a whole cat.
I got one.
Boop. Lost it.
So this old fuddy duddy is ready to rock, and you find out the reason he's so into this is because his daughter was attacked by a Mikura.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they're a Mikura, honestly. Oh, there's the whole cast. Okay, cool.
There's the whole cast right there.
Yeah, that's a good one. Some of these characters you don't meet until Revelation.
Right.
So you can see Echo here. He's in the middle if you're following along. And then he turns into the big Virgil-looking dude. Otoha. Yep. Wow, I didn't realize he got so big. Yeah, he gets big.
Massively so.
Yeah,
like Guan Yu.
Guan Yu. He goes from Twink Boy to Guan Yu. So, yeah, and a lot of these characters, you got your two detectives, the older gentleman and the gentleman in the jacket here. Otoha in the middle. He's got his classic. He looks very much. He always reminded me of Kota, or Koga. I'm sorry, Koga.
Koga.
Yeah, from Garo.
Okay.
He always kind of had that vibe to me. He's got the white jacket, long white jacket, and everything.
I mean, he's just kind of like your copy paste MC. Just
which they do flesh out much more in the second movie, and you find out his story is wild. I'm just gonna leave it at that. It is a wild story.
Okay.
So essentially,
I'm gonna have
find
to
out
the dub. Is it vastly different?
The dub. I think the second one, the dub was the more confusing of the things, and that's when they start explaining everything. So. Yeah, it just gets all over the place and confusing, and that's when, like I said, you find out Uranes are spirits of the city and all this kind of stuff. And
yeah. I'm just trying to make sure that I don't have like a whole different understanding of the story when I'm done.
See, that's why I said it'd be interesting if you watch the dub, because I've seen the dub and I know how confusing that is. So
yeah, I'll watch the dub and then we'll clear things up on the next episode.
Yeah. So essentially, at this point, the detectives are trying to figure out what the hell's happening, what's going on with all these demons. Otoha, you find out he's literally a yokai doctor. He helps the demons in the other realm.
That's right.
And he's doing his like protector thing. Like he's watching out for people, that kind of stuff. And then we are introduced. So after this, Echo has a meeting with his Espada. I'm just going to keep calling them the Espada because that's essentially what they are.
I still don't remember their names, but we have Spider Chick.
Tsuchigumo.
We have Vampire Dude.
Yep. So all of them are actual yokai in mythology.
Okay.
Tsuchigumo is the lady.
Oh, so that's what they're playing.
Yeah.
Off of.
Nue is another demon.
But what? Okay. No, I'm pretty familiar with them, but I didn't make that connection.
Yeah, they're actual like mythological creatures in Japanese folklore. That's not what I wanted. Copy this real quick. Tsuchigumo is one of them. Here, get this guy.
Spider Lady.
Spider Lady. This is Tsuchigumo. She is a spider woman.
Yes.
And the other gentleman is. I don't remember. So, yeah, we are introduced to this guy who's essentially a vampire, because they're all essentially vampires. They're sucking out bloods of people, fluids, everything. They leave them as, like, scrawny little skeleton men when they're done.
That's so gross.
Yeah.
They don't hold anything back in this.
Yeah,
I love how
pretty cool.
They're just like, there you go. No mystery there, bro.
Yeah. Wan Yudo, that's his name.
Wan Yudo. Yeah,
Wan Yudo is the older gentleman. He is I don't remember what he is, honestly. So we have Nue,
like
Suiko, Wan Yudo, Tsuchigumo,
like,
Kamataichi, and Oshioni.
The robot dude, right?
Kamaitachi is the robot dude, yes.
Yeah.
Because he is the fox spirit of wind with blades and things. Or I guess he's technically a ferret in that folklore. We get a picture of Wan Yudo here because we'll talk about him next. He is the next Mikudo we run into and we start a fight with. So essentially, you kind of have this classic disappearing in the fog sort of situation where people go into this tunnel and they just don't come out because they
never come back out the tunnel.
Yeah.
Don't go in that tunnel. Why?
Wan Yudo. Here he is.
Yeah, that guy.
Which I think is awesome. I tried to find a better picture of the water goblin guy. I couldn't find one. But that's Wan Yudo. He's an old gentleman who looks quite terrifying in the actual movie because that red suit's kind of not scary.
Yeah.
Here's a better one. So when we're introduced to him, we see this, which is this red-eyed, he gets this like Helsing thing going on.
It's always something about the butlers in Japanese anime. They're like always terrifying. Totally dismissive or freaking horrifying.
And then his demon form is this kind of saw monster car thing,
motorcycle thing. Yeah, like I never had any issues with the designs. It's just rewatching it. Holy crap! Like this is what they were doing with CG animation then.
Yeah. And they do a lot of hiding in like the darkness and fog and things like that, where it's definitely like I don't know if we're ready to reveal this whole model because some of these are pretty old.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not like reboot level.
Is the Kappa.
So, how fitting. Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah, so when we get to Wan Yudo, he's this kind of stoic but not kind of thing, and Nue is the first one to encounter him, and Nue kind of gets the jump on him. And this is where we get a little bit of Nue's background of he's one of the Mikuda. Obviously there was something wrong at this point. He's got like green blood, he's got fangs, he's got electricity all around him, that kind of thing.
It's heavily implied that he's different. They just don't outright say anything about it. It's just happening.
So it's an interesting little dynamic he has. Like I think they actually call him traitor, things like that.
Because he wants to. Well,
he wants to stop the Mikuda and Echo and all those guys. He stop whatever he's planning to do, sort of thing. And yeah. So Wan Yudo is driving around, and this is where we really get introduced to what Karas could do and his other strange abilities. Because while they're in the tunnel, you find out he can also turn into a car.
I mean, like the limits of his transformation are unending. Like they literally, he can do anything.
The only thing he doesn't turn into is a boat. I'm just throwing that out there. He does not turn into a boat. We don't have land, sea, and air. We only have land and air. So he does turn into a car, and he also turns into a jet. But whenever he does it, I think it is the coolest thing because he always does a rider kick like out of the jet, and he uses that momentum. It's so cool.
That rider kick is amazing. I can't say enough about how much I enjoyed watching this. I know
it doesn't make any damn sense. It really doesn't.
But it was fun to watch. Mm-hmm. It was really fun.
Yeah. So if nothing else, and you want some cool fights, just watch it.
Yeah. I mean, we can't say too much because when we get to the revelation, we'll go into the lore and all that stuff. But for it being what it was when it came out, yeah, because I'm kind of entertaining the idea how young I was when I first saw it, and did I actually care about the story then? You know what I mean? Did it really matter?
No,
I don't think so.
No,
like you get this
because I didn't understand
display,
it, so I just ignored it.
And
honestly,
that was fine. That was fine for me.
Yeah,
exactly. If you're saying you just understood it 2 weeks ago, and I still don't get it, I don't think it matters.
No, it doesn't.
But yeah, I mean
it's a
forewarning though. Like when you watch TheProphecy, it ends abruptly.
Abruptly, yes. It is very much abruptly. There is more to this because, like I said, it started off as like a 6-episode OVA, I believe 6. And they're each about half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah, 6. So Prophecy is 3.
No, they're each
Revelation is 3. They're half. Yeah, that makes sense. It's about an hour and a half movie if you watch it all together. So it's 3 and 3. They separate it. And it's very much, there's a couple, they do pretty well at cutting it together if you watch the whole movie, but there definitely is a couple spots where you're like, yep, this was the end of the episode. Like it does like a fade to black and then it fades back in somewhere else kind of thing. It was definitely one of those, like, you can see where they edited it together. But once you get past that, like it's a really good movie. You can actually find the collection on Amazon. Of both movies, that kind of thing. I have them on DVD. I gotta find if there's Blu-rays. I don't know if there is Blu-rays, honestly.
Yeah, I saw that, but then it was like unavailable.
Oh, really? Damn. So after they defeat Wan Yudo, actually, there's a very important part to this because we see Nue's demon form at the end of this fight. So you finally, they do the big reveal that he is a demon, and he has this really cool kind of tiger thing, bat, whatever you want to call it, I don't know, form when he's in his Mikura thing. I'm trying to find a good picture. There's really not a good picture.
No, it's like all surrounded by fire.
Yeah, it has this like cool green fire effect going on, and because that's Wan Yudo, he popped. He popped like a balloon because Cars hit him real good. Hit him real good.
I love it.
Yeah. So, we're revealed that, yes, he is a Mikura, and that's his big, I don't know if you want to call it a secret or what. But that's revealed, and then it's he essentially he kind of goes berserk because he's injured, sort of thing, like his animal instincts kick in. And he has a little demon buddy that he's been palling around with at this point, and the demon buddy's like begging Karas not to attack him and hurt him, and he's saying how he's different. And
the little snail girl.
Yeah, there's like a tension moment where you're like, oh, Karas and him are gonna go at it, and Karas is gonna do his thing, but he doesn't. And they kind of just disappear, and New Egg goes off. And so essentially, what it is they need the blood to heal themselves.
Body told him this.
Yeah, New Egg just kind of has this. He's just kind of dying in a tanker shipping crate thing somewhere because he doesn't want to drink blood. So, yeah. And then we get you find out what happens to Sagisaka's daughter, I believe, not long after this.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. You find out that she is a victim of the Mikura, and her entire class was killed, and she suffered PTSD from it and does not talk. And is she in a coma? I don't remember. No, she's just kind of crazy, right?
Like kind of out of it, constantly out of it.
Like loopy. She's just,
yeah.
And then
she can see demons.
Yeah, she can see demons because she sees Urine as well.
Yeah.
She sees demons, she sees Urine. She can see the spiritual stuff. And then you find out, Echo and his gang of merry men find out that Otoa has a secret, and it's that he's not really dead. He has a physical body still that is alive. It's in a coma. That's why he's able to do this spiritual astral projection kind of thing.
So is that all he is in a projection?
He's essentially an astral projection. Yeah, it's his spirit, but his body's in a coma. That's why they went after it. Yeah, so that's why they start attacking the hospitals, and they use Tsuchigumo as Kamaitachi as a distraction. Or yes, no, I'm sorry, Tsuchigumo as a distraction as Kamaitachi goes for the real one. So Spider Lady here, she goes after the real body as Kamaitachi, or she goes after a fake body as Kamaitachi goes for the real one. And, they start attacking hospitals and things like that. And she has a very disturbing power that I'm sure you were a huge fan of.
I hate spiders.
She literally pukes a bunch of spiders into people.
Like, it's just the fact that there's so many of them.
Yeah, there's so many.
I'm okay with one spider. I'm not okay with thousands.
So you get another really cool fight where they go flying around the hospital and cars chase them down, and eventually Kamaitachi, they figure out that she's a distraction, and they go after Kamaitachi, who's at the real body.
Right. And these are like legit moments too. Like it's
the last like half hour or so of this 45 minutes is pretty intense.
Yeah.
It's going. There's a lot of things happening, and it's very much like the climax of this. So Karas fights Kamaitachi, which is a pretty dope fight too. You see him, that's when he turns to the car again, but he's using his like grappling hook thing he can fire out of his shoulder to like turn the corners real tight, and all kinds of really cool like super actiony anime things through the hallways. It's crazy.
There, I found it. All right, no, is that the whole fight?
Is it the fight?
No. Yep, there it goes.
So
it's not the whole thing, but it's some of it.
No, it's not. That's all right. They'll get the idea. And yeah, at the same time, we come to this revelation because Nue's little buddy is trying to get him blood, so he goes to a hospital, and that's when we find Otoha's body. And Kamaitachi is this weird thing,
like a
weird
frilly
thing.
Yeah, like a frilly, spidery, weird. I don't know. It's hard to pin down because it doesn't resemble anything. It just looks like a weird, lanky thingy.
Yeah, he looks almost like a puppet from Naruto. That's the best way to describe it.
That's actually not bad.
Yeah, he looks like one of those guys. And yeah, they have a pretty cool fight. You see some more Karas' transformation stuff, and Kamaitachi turns into this like fox thing where he's just cutting everything up.
It's so dope.
And Karas can fire missiles, by the way, when he's in his vehicle forms.
Right, that's what I'm about to say. Like how the projectiles come out, and they're like, it's not like a blast. It's fucking like a metallic thing that he shoots out. Like, you know what I mean? Like
they're just like they're like Shinto missiles.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it was kind of just cool not to see just energy being projected.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
like a lot of the usual, like they could very easily just go into like Shinto hand signs kind of thing, and like
fucking Dragon Ball where every blast is yellow. You know what I mean? Like, come on. But yeah, so they have their little thing, and it's kind of like a lot of. And I have to say that the tension is a bit suppressed because you know that there's more.
Yeah.
But watching it and you not knowing that there's more, you could pretty much be like, oh shit, he's probably gonna die right here. You know what I mean? Like, and then there's gonna be another Karas.
Yeah.
And
to me, it seemed like he didn't realize he was in a coma. Like I think he might have thought he was dead because he does have that moment. It just came on the video when I was watching the Discord where he kind of like looks at his body and goes, "Oh shit."
Yeah, I was thinking he was a ghost, but yeah, that makes more sense if he's a projection.
I think he didn't know he wasn't dead.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean,
yeah.
How would that make your weekend if you just like,
right?
Hey,
everything I know is a lie.
Why am I sleeping?
So they capture Urine and kill her actually, and that's why the contract is broken. Karas disappears. Actually, they don't kill her. I'm sorry. They capture her, but they break the contract essentially. So Karas disappears, and we are introduced to another Karas. It's a female Karas, and her Urine.
Ren.
It might.
I can't remember her name.
Um,
She wears a bonnet or a puffy beret, and she uses a katana.
Yeah.
Though that she tries to use a katana. But anyway,
Homura. That's her name.
Homura. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she's super useless. But anyway,
She's not so much in the second movie. She does stuff in the second movie.
Okay. See, then I'm just gonna, like I said, banking on anything you see in the prophecy. You're getting a lot more questions and just a lot of action, and it's really good.
Yeah. With Kara's gone, Kamae Itachi is free to kind of do whatever. But then Nue intervenes, stops for a moment, and Kars had dropped his sword when he disappeared. Otoha's wakes up and grabs that sword. Yeah, sorry. Josh sent us a message, one of the associates I work with. Yeah, I'll send you all that stuff, dude. It's pretty easy to find on YouTube. Like, you can, if you want to join the Discord, we always put the clips and stuff in there. I can give you the link either later or whatever. Actually, I'll put it in there right now. So yeah, it's copy.
This is pretty much the climax. This is before before the abrupt end.
Yeah. So it's it ends with Otoha waking up and killing Kamae Itachi with his sweet super sword.
So sexily too. Yeah. Like he slashes and just grinds it straight through him.
Yeah, it's pretty vicious, like right through his head. He just
So that's and then
that's the ending essentially.
Because they stop it just when you're like, there's more. There's got to be more. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
So it's that's the end of the prophecy. It's a crazy movie. It's super cool. What were your feelings on it overall?
Seriously, like rewatching it and appreciating that, more of just than the flashy pretty thingies, like the subtle, like even the techniques in the fighting that he does. You know what I mean? It's a greater level of appreciation now than I did then. Yeah. And I'm hoping that the only thing that's going to put the bow on it would be the info dumps in the Revelation. So I need those to put my final approval on it. But honestly, I don't think I didn't enjoy it in any way. I loved everything about it. I just want more answers.
Yeah. And those info dumps are kind of not as dumpy as you'd want them to be, honestly.
Okay. I just thought it was going to be like 45 minutes of, and then the world was crap.
No, you get, so at the beginning of the second movie, you kind of get like hey, this is what a Urine is. Hey, this is this. And then Echo is like, hey, this is my master plan. And those are pretty much all the info dumps you get. The rest of it is just like, look at these demons in this fighting. Here you go. Merry Christmas. Bye.
I will take it. Yeah. That's fine.
So it's cool. The next one is a lot less hidden in darkness kind of thing. So you see a lot more stuff. So it's a little bit better in that regard. This one is a little more cleaned up, polished up. I don't know. They did it all at the same time, so I don't know why that is. That's just the vibe I get. It may have just been, the chunk of episodes that they're using. So, yeah, I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, we're going to cover the Revelation in the next episode. And if I don't have any more questions, I think I'm going to be disappointed.
You're going to have a lot more questions because, like
that's
I said,
what I'm thinking. Like,
the info dumps aren't great.
Yeah,
they don't give you a lot.
So as I was looking for pictures for Karas and all that, like I found this amusing little thing that I think you'll have an input or two about.
Yeah.
So I just uploaded.
Who you got money on? So this is Karas versus Garo. If you're not in the Discord,
right?
Karas versus Garo.
Now, if you're not too familiar with Garo is one of the more powerful, darker toku shows. So this isn't as a clear cut of a fight as you would think with all the ninja flippy stuff that Karas does, as opposed to the
have a little bit better of a matchup for you. Hang on. So, but continue. You can tell people what Garo is, because I'm sure a lot of them don't know.
Yeah, so Garo is like, it's not as flippy as Karas, but it is just as impactful. So, like you're getting basically a knight versus a ninja in basic terms. But honestly, power scale wise, I would go with Garo. Because he might get hit, but when he hits, like,
yeah. Especially if he starts. This is a character from Garo. His name is Crow.
Yeah.
So Crow versus Karas, I think, would be a much more interesting fight because they're essentially the same thing, and they could take the skies and do all kinds of. His whole shtick is he can fly. Most of the Garos can't fly. But I think that would be a pretty interesting. If we're going like which, okay, so let's set it up like this: which Garo? Garo is also a title, by the way. Garo is a passed down lineage title kind of thing. But which Garo are we talking? Because there's many different Garo.
Yeah, I will put up my Garo. You put up your Garo.
Okay. Because I think it'll be, it'll for me it'll depend on which Garo it is.
I am going this Garo. There you go.
Okay. Get to that in a second because I'm just trying to get this image of mine.
Oh, I uploaded it into the Discord.
Okay. Okay, so you're going with dark, unshiny Garo.
Yes.
Okay. That's what's his face? Ryu, whatever.
Ryuga. Yeah.
Ryuga, yeah. I'm going with sword. So,
see, all right. Your knowledge of Garo is deeper than mine, I'll give you that. But I was going more for speed and agility.
Okay.
You're going for slashing.
See, like, I think this isn't a contest if we chose, like, Koga, honestly. Because Koga is broken.
Yeah.
Koga literally dies, comes back beefier, and then, like, dies 3 more times, and then says, "Nah, I'm good," and then just, like, wakes back up. So
one day we'll get to Garo, and then we'll be able to deep dive. But just amusing thought. Like, I thought, I would put my money on Garo, but Crow versus Karas would be a really dope fight.
Crow versus Karas would be cool. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So yeah, that would be an interesting, we should maybe send that to what's their face? Death Battle. Be like, yo, do this.
Bro, they've been doing a lot of other shit lately. Like, I'm stoked.
I honestly haven't seen much of them lately.
Bro.
The last one I remember, like, vividly was either the Dragon Zord one versus Mechagodzilla or Strider versus Ryu Hayabusa. That's really when I stopped, like, watching them consistently.
Shout out to the Death Battle guys. You guys are awesome.
Those guys are awesome. Yeah, so I think, that's the prophecy, honestly. All in all, that movie's amazing. It still holds up, and that's one of those things we were talking about the other day, getting nostalgia things that just, like, time warp you and you get sucked into the universe butthole and then, like, come back to a certain time period. That is 100% one of those things for me. Karas is an essential part of my, I don't know, tweenhood.
the edgelord Carl.
Yeah, that might have been close to the start of the edgelord. So I weigh every other edgelord to Karas. So that's the prophecy. I guess we'll switch gears and go to Saber.
Yeah, so we missed a week, so we have 2 episodes actually to kind of catch up on, and 8, as of this recording, 8 was released yesterday.
Was it? Because I tried to find it in our usual source, and I just saw the post this morning.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Yeah, okay. I haven't gotten to watch it yet, so we're just kind of chilling.
We're just gonna do 6 and 7 then.
Yeah, we'll do our thing with 6 and 7, and then next week we'll do Revelation in 8. So
Kamen Rider Saber.
Kamen Rider Saber. Oh my god, how I have come to enjoy this show.
Yes, very much so. Actually, I'm actually having a lot of fun with it.
It's really becoming fun to watch the show. It's not so that I'm expecting amazing storytelling anymore. I'm not. Yeah. It's a thing to look forward to, I should say. Anyway, so episode for a brief catch up. The current episode, we are continuing kind of a pseudo thread. 1 second. We start this episode introduced to a new rider.
Yep.
They're trying to figure out what they're going to do about Zuos and their plan and all that stuff.
Yep. Toma had just gotten Storm Eagle back and Disaster. He just defeated Disaster again and all this kind of stuff. So it's they're kind of like, hey,
Yeah.
what do we do and all this, and I forget what Toma's stressing out about, honestly. But he's like contemplating life at the beginning of the episode. And then they're in the sort of logos, just kind of talking about like books and the Wonder Ride books and all this kind of stuff. And then we're introduced to our quadriary rider. I guess that's the word, quatriary.
Yes, quatriary.
The fourth rider. So, and he comes in hot with a lot of shit talking. He immediately just goes, "Oh, you're the noob, right? Got it. Okay, cool." And Toma takes offense to that, and immediately they start having their little spat. And I think we lost. Are you still there? You're still there. Okay. I think it derped out for a second.
Try.
Oh, getting the robot. Oh, derping out.